Hello, hello. Good evening. Whoa, whoa. I knew I forgot something. Good evening. That was louder than I expected it to be. Hello. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for the posture check. Oh, jeez. Yeah, good. Good blah, 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 blah. Good posture check. Also good hydrate time. Thank you, thank you. That's a loud pop. Sure is. I haven't really moved much today. I think that's what makes it like worse. Anyway, here's the belated pat. There we go. But yeah, welcome in. It's Sunday. I just finished the book I was reading. Like, barely. Literally reached the author's notes right when I pressed start stream. Sure was a book. Do you ever go into what basically constitutes as a children's book? Not I mean it's a little complicated. It's not a children's book in the sense that it's literally made for children, but it's written in a way that I feel like might even be understandable for children. But it's written about. It's geared towards adults. It made me cry. Oh, okay. And I finished that just now. I honestly didn't know what to expect, how it would end, but well, I didn't expect it to end quite like that. So here we are. Hopefully about to read something that is not going to make me cry, at least not tears of sadness or more tears of joy. But yeah, last time in Twofold, we finished our first route. We got a kiss and everything. So this time around, we're going to be going the other direction and see what happens if we join the art club and see what's happening on that side of. What's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. Anyway, we're going to be seeing what that's like. Which means we're just gonna jump right into where I put a save. So we're immediately at the selection of which club we want to. No, actually, we're not gonna jump right here. We're gonna jump to the whole talking to whether we want to talk to Allison or Heather. Simply because that's gonna make it easier for me, and also since we're going to be joining the art club, I'm gonna stick with Allison, I think. So we know a little bit more about her. Hello! A bunch of veggies, grains, and pretending to be a medieval peasant. Sometimes you just like the really basic stuff. yeah, we want to talk to Allison to see what she has to say. This is before we decide to join any of the clubs. It is only half paying attention to me to begin with, so I quickly get up and skip over to Allison as she strides off. Good. I have no intention of playing peacemaker, but it's striking how strong her feelings on the matter are.
Hey, Allison.
Allison turns to me, her frustration with Heather still simmering. She soon turns embarrassed at being caught fuming.
Hi. Sorry about Caprice running off.
Shaking your fist about the king raising his quota of grains. True. How will you survive the winter? You have to stay strong. I believe in you. You can do it.
No worries. She seemed busy anyway. Fair prep?
Yeah, we're all a bit behind schedule, so we've been kind of scrambling.
Heather gives a dry ha as she overhears the last of our conversation before wandering off toward the food counter.
She's always so rude.
She sure is. Allison pouts at her back as she walks away.
Do you interact with the writing club much? Outside of yesterday, I mean.
Every now and then. Or lately with this fair stuff. Not like Heather's much of a club member, though.
She's there.
What exactly is the club fair about? I saw it advertised earlier last year, too.
There's not much to it. A bunch of the school clubs set up in the gymnasium and try to recruit people. Mostly freshmen who haven't been poached yet. Millie offered to share her space, so we're sneaking in this year.
Nice.
If you have a way to get new people like that, why is Caprice so dead set on recruiting me?
Caprice is really serious about the club. But you've probably noticed that already. Honestly, she's serious about everything she does. She wants to get every person possible. A dream of hers is to grow and expand the club beyond even the huge existing one.
She trails off, suddenly going quiet as she thinks bad of continuing.
And what?
To be honest with you, I prefer smaller groups. I'm fine with how things are.
You seem the type.
Nothing against you, though. You're free to join if you want. You'd love it, I'm sure. Everyone really is nice, and we have a lot of fun. Caprice is wonderful, too. I know she can be a little overbearing at times, but she always brings so much energy.
A little too much, maybe.
Sometimes, sure. I get it. When I first met her, I thought she was pretty overbearing. I wouldn't really fault you for thinking that.
She's good at what she does, though, right?
Oh, absolutely. Everyone there is. I'm still learning, but they're always teaching me new things. But I guess what's happening is...
She taps her finger to her chin, pausing to give her next words some thought.
Caprice wants us to be a legitimate club. A club that's official, real, whichever word you want to use. We aren't much of one right now. We barely nudged our way into the fair. Even then, we kind of cheated to get there.
If I join, will that even change anything?
I don't know. It'd take more than one person, probably.
Well, one person is a start. Of course it would. More members would be helpful, but I wonder how many they'd even gain from an event like this. And there's the fact that Allison here clearly doesn't want it. I wonder if I'd just be butting in some group of close friends more than joining a club.
Still, we're going to do our best. You should do what's best for you, too.
Thanks. Sorry for keeping you. I'll see you around.
Allison gives a quick goodbye before skipping out to try and catch up with Caprice. What I found might not have been what I wanted to hear, but at least she was honest. Now time to actually get some food. Okay. Oh, no, not yet. I quietly mull things over as I head to the food counter. The F Club is close and friendly. They're small because it's like they're a group of friends trying to be a club. The writing club isn't much, but at least Millie seems capable and eager to help. It's probably better to not even consider Tanya and Heather as factors. I'm not sure if either's a good option. Hopefully his club fair will help me find better answers. My lord won't let us own that! Damn! I think it's time you overthrow your king. This is a good skip it button. Very good, very quick. There we go. There we go. Let me just make another save here though. Doesn't really make a difference. The only reason I'm doing this is because I want to read everything that is in the game, which means I'm gonna have to hang out with absolutely everyone at times, and you can only choose one person for the playthrough, right? So, but there's achievements for choosing every single option in the prologue, and then obviously like getting closer to all of the people in the club. So. Getting closer. I do not remember all of the names, sadly. Everyone involved, same here. We already chose Tanya. I do kind of want to know what the fuck Heather's deal is at some point, and also Darren. Like, they all get the small little thing. I'm not sure whether we're going to be doing that on stream though, not gonna lie. I'm gonna go for Caprice, I'm gonna join. I'm gonna hang out with her simply because she seems nice, and I like her design.
For better or worse, I'm going with the art club.
Yes! I knew you'd make the right choice!
Join the art club for better or worse. That's what the achievement says. She pumps her fist, jumping up and down. Millie frowns with either annoyance at Caprice or disappointment at me. Probably both. She quickly corrects it into a pleasant smile, though.
Well, Olive, thank you for at least considering us.
Yeah, sorry.
Don't worry, you're not the only prospective member in this gym. I hope you have a wonderful time with your new club.
Thank you. Good luck.
Wait.
Wonderful won't even begin to describe it!
She reaches out and grabs my hand.
Thank you!
Hands firmly grasping mine, she shakes my arm without rhyme or reason, expelling as much energy as she's physically capable. I don't want to admit how much it hurts.
I'm counting on you.
Don't worry, it won't just be me. The entire club has your back. We'll get you there. Trust us.
It's easy to get wrapped up in Caprice's energy. All I can do is hope that she's able to live up to that enthusiasm once we get into the actual studying. So long as she and the club are willing, I want to hope I'll be okay, even if I have to force myself to believe it. I don't know enough to know for sure, but all I can do is place my blind faith in them. They'll be okay. It has to be. Hazelnut chocolate inside. Oh, that sounds good. That sounds good.
And so, to our newest member, Olive!
Hi, that's me! Grace stands at the end of the table, raising her glass full of soda. Fortunately for the rest of us, her volume is just passable as an indoor voice. Unfortunately, she senses such a gusto that the combined effect of her voice and movement draws the attention of almost every other table in our vicinity anyway. Content with playing along, the rest of the art club half-heartedly raised their own glass to match her, albeit with greatly diminished enthusiasm. The urge to shrink away into my vest grows by the second, and I only barely manage to resist it. Still though, I can't help but sink into my chair just a little. Grace is quick to notice, eyes quickly meeting mine, her smile as wide as it's been all night.
Come on, you too!
Feel the eyes of every single person around land on me. I give her a non-committal hand wave, but she just raises her glass even higher. She sure doesn't want to drop it. In an act of surrender, I hold up my cup as well.
Welcome to the club!
The rest of the club is less enthusiastic in their following welcomes. Allison and Wallace up the quiet murmur of agreement, obviously feeling the attention from around us as well. Eileen's response is a simple grumble. Satisfied with the response regardless, Caprice extends her glass and takes a drink, ending her impromptu toast.
Pizza again, huh?
It's tradition! We gotta do this every time someone new joins the ranks.
Oh? It feels like if it wasn't attached to her face, Eileen's eyebrow would be leaving Earth's atmosphere.
Another tradition?
If we keep adding more, we'll be eating pizza more days than not.
Oh no, it's pizza every time you make something as a tradition? Oh god. I thought it would just be a tradition to have pizza for this one thing. Maybe you should choose different foods for different traditions.
Is that a problem?
Oh, so I'm just an excuse for a party. Something tugs at the back of my mind, but I shake it off for now. An excessive celebrations isn't that big of a deal, assuming we still get study groups together.
Now that Olive has decided to join our club, we're up to 5 members.
Yay!
And how many did that other club recruit? 0?
Caprice.
I'm kidding. I wish only the best for them.
I wish I could believe her, but the grin on her face tells a different story. From the moment we've left the fair, she's been beaming with the kind of competitive sparkle only seen in athletes. I can't help but feel a bit weird about it. I do need the help, and I'm trusting her to be my best bet. Still, at the end of everything, I'm just a pawn Caprice is trying to keep on the field.
Well, it was basically the flip of a coin.
So you say, but I'm sure you had your reasons. For example, it's clear we were the fun choice. Probably the most fun at the whole fair.
There are a lot of reasons, but I can't say that was one of them. It was mostly for the study help.
I don't intend on becoming your personal tutor.
I didn't really plan on that.
Then you made the wrong choice. Caprice has been running us ragged since classes started back up last January.
Okay, assuming we still get study groups, Kaveh hasn't gotten off to a great start. And he takes a small sip of a beer before continuing the thought. He turns a peek at Caprice, who's suddenly gone quiet. She's struggling with a particularly large piece of pizza, trying to catch all the cheese before it slides off. Eileen continues to seize the moment.
The ratio of asinine field trips we've been taking to actual studying is heavily not in your favor.
Oh no. It's Allison's turn for a death stare, this time focused on Eileen. Surprisingly, Eileen's posture shifts and her face softens just enough to be noticeable.
Caprice should be the one to handle the bulk of it, since she roped you into this.
As long as I can pass the semester, I don't really care how.
I shift downward, finding interest in the slice on my plate as a smokescreen to think things over. I said I don't care, but so far this get-together has me feeling more nervous than I'd expected. There's vague offers of help here and there, but it's hard to imagine how much of that is genuine versus how easily Caprice seems to wrap out this entire excitement. And that brings me back to the head honcho herself. The more I sit here and listen to current affairs, the more I worry that perhaps I made this decision because I got wrapped up in energy too. Like I even said, I'm here because of Caprice. It's too late to walk back that decision, so I have to trust her. Freed of her pizza, Caprice finishes all of her soda in one go and pipes back up.
None of that is important right now. We're celebrating! This is the beginning of a new year!
It's already fall.
Caprice grumbles and protests at Wallace's remark as she takes the hat from her head and wrings it out as if it were a red rag, taking a moment to gather her thoughts. After the last imaginary drop is wrung out of the poor thing, she places it atop her head once more and her face lights up.
So here's the agenda going forward.
Agenda!
We'll draw, create, and make more than ever before. And since
Put
Olive
it
is
on
just
binary.
entering the world of art, we'll have to cultivate in them a love for it.
She looks at me and nods proudly, beaming. I feel the urge to remind her I'm looking more for study help than my own artistic awakening, but think that over for now. I sweep across the rest of the table.
In the past year or so, we've only expanded more and more. It started with 1, me, and then soon there were 3 of us. Allie,
Yes?
Allison sits up straight, startled.
with this club, you found a new love.
Allison looks red and nervous, eyes darting around the room. She briefly looks to Eileen for encouragement and responds with a simple shrug.
Of the arts, you mean?
Yes, exactly. Beyond anything, the strongest power art has is to connect people. Where stuffy old words aren't enough, you can always count on the visual medium to bring everyone together. Speaking of which...
She starts moving her pointer finger from Allison to Eileen, who looks unperturbed. Allison slumps in her seat, relieved the attention is off her. I guess she hates to be the focus even more than I do.
Not another word.
Caprice's finger glides past Eileen and lands on Wallace, an emotion so clean you wouldn't think it was a last-second course correct. Those two really know how to navigate each other well, even if they're like oil and water.
And not to mention Wallace. You see? This club makes artists.
Eileen and I were artists long before you dragged us in here.
Details. Point
Oh,
being,
did she
the
steal
club is
him
more than
from
capable of molding someone into
from
an
the
artist,
writing club?
And that's exactly what it's gonna do. That's you, by the way.
I feel like we're getting ahead of ourselves here.
The artwork is so cute.
So the plan is simple. Create! Everything else will come naturally.
Caprice stands with her hands on her hips, seemingly done and very pleased with her speech. It takes a minute for anyone to react.
Is that all?
Sounds fine to me. The sudden shift to dramatics made me worried something drastic was about to happen.
I believe in freedom of expression, but as usual, I'll be directing meetings to help inspire you. Inspiration can come from anywhere, and when it strikes, you have to capitalize.
I wonder how many of these inspirational lines came from the internet and how many she's trying to churn out on the spot.
That sounds good and all, but how will it help me pass her actual art class?
Oh, Olive.
She gives me such a sad, pitiful look, like I've just asked how to boil water.
To understand art, truly understand it, you have to experience it. Be immersed in it. There's no better way to do that than to be surrounded by it all the time.
But do you guys, like, actually study?
Seemingly trying to help the conversation, Allison raises her hand meekly to join in.
I took that class last semester. A big part of the finals is about exploring the fundamentals in your own way.
What, like actual art? So what's the textbook even for?
It'll be fun. You'll see. What's gonna be your focus, Allie?
I was thinking of trying to get into sculpting or something this semester.
Oh, I like the sound of that. Branching out is important.
Caprice emphasized drawing so much coming into this, I hadn't really considered that this club brought us with other art forms. But then the Fine Arts Club at our school, which I didn't even have a chance to consider joining instead of this one, probably covers just about every form of art there is.
I've been trying some new brushes.
Pretty much just dependent on how much funding the school actually gives the arts. But yeah, depending on how, you can try lots of art forms for sure. Wallace holds his phone up to show Eileen the screen. Allison curiously leans in to take a look too. I can see it from my angle, but trying to get closer to steal a look doesn't feel right with how new I am to the circle.
Huh, not bad. But man, a tablet just doesn't feel the same as the real thing.
I'm sure you'd be great once you got used to it.
I'm sure you would. As for me, I don't think I could ever go traditional. No undo. I don't know how you do it.
That's why we practice.
I'll just stick to digital. Thanks.
Eileen the traditionalist, Wallace the digital artist, and Allison the experimentalist. Regardless of everything else, I could have done a lot worse in this variety if I was looking for help. As for Caprice, what does Caprice do? I've seen some quick sketches of hers in class, but I'd like to assume there's more to her than that. I guess I want her to ask.
Hey, what kind of art do you do?
She gives me a mischievous smile.
Oh, are you curious?
I wouldn't have asked if I wasn't.
Not for long.
She playfully taps my arm.
Oh, don't be like that. I made the posters and flyers for our club, of course. You saw some of my best work at the fair.
Are those her best examples? Poses were eye-catching, but they felt like technique had been swapped out with raw energy while creating them. I guess that's suitably on brand, but I'm not sure if pure energy and willpower are enough to help me brute force the actual technical know-how needed for passing grade. Oddly though, those words leave me briefly when taking in the pride and excitement she has when talking about them.
I can show you more during the next club meeting if you want.
Sure.
But only if you have something to show me in return.
I haven't even started yet and she's already giving me homework. The thought alone of going home tonight and drawing something as simple as a straight line to present embarrasses me senseless. Nevertheless,
I'll try.
nice. It's okay. Act 1, work in progress. Can do this. Thank you for the pad. I have my fingers crossed for your pulse. You can do it. I believe in you. My last class of the day passes in a blur. I don't think I could honestly say what the topic was about, but since it was just computer literacy, it probably didn't matter anyway. Diverting myself from my usual course towards the bike racks, I head towards the art building on the other side of campus. I try not to bump into the streams of people leaving or entering the campus, either escaping towards home or hurriedly rushing to the clubs, but it's a fruitless endeavor. It's been 2 weeks since the art club orientation/pizza party. Since then, the meetings have been even more scattershot than I had expected. Both times, Caprice either left early or rescheduled at the last minute for another day. In the end, it doesn't affect me too much since we trade notes in class. Still, my worst fears about the club being so casual are coming true, and as I make my way towards the next meeting, a feeling of dread hangs over me. A big dude! Nice.
Hey.
Lost in my thoughts, it takes me a minute to register when Haley calls out to me from a few steps behind.
Oh, Hi.
Unlike usual, Haley's headphones are already slung around her neck like she was expecting.
Off to the art club? Yeah. Well, I hope so. I'm not sure if it'll happen today or not. It probably won't, yeah.
Oh.
Sorry to break the bad news. Man, I really picked the wrong club, huh?
Haley's expression shifts to something slightly more emotive. Disappointed.
No. Either choice has its own issues. The writing club is barely holding together too, since Darren left.
Darren left? Oh. Again. Darren quitting isn't exactly a surprise considering the circumstances. Knowing him since high school helped to keep the atmosphere a bit more manageable overall. Being stuck between Heather and Millie is a pretty solid deal breaker. I look at Haley, who gives me a non-committal shrug. She looks almost as downtrodden as I feel.
I joined to help keep the numbers up, but there's no helping the attitude of the other members. Look, I know it's probably weird coming from me, but if you could give the art club an honest try, it'd really help me out.
Oh. I'm not following, and Haley doesn't seem to mind if I do or not.
Caprice is doing her best. She won't let you fail your semester. She's just got a lot going on lately.
I'll keep that in mind. What's going on exactly?
Well.
I shouldn't really be the one to tell you that.
Great. Haley puts on her headphones, clearly ending the conversation, or at least putting an end to any more questions.
I gotta go. See you.
Okay,
Bye.
but... And you're gone.
Haley turns a corner out of sight, clearly in a rush to get somewhere. I rub my eyes, willing myself to not turn around and head home for the day. Whatever her reason, if Caprice is going to call off the club for today, I should at least show up to say I did. Walking down the hall and up the stairs, I try to repress whatever feelings of anxiety remain. I'm out of options and there's no going back on my decision. This is my best bet. For better or worse, I need to make the most of it. Before I even reach the door, I can hear the muffled sounds of Caprice's energetic shouting. The people in this building really have to deal with this all the time, huh? I open the door as quietly as I can.
Experimentation! Let it flow through you! Let the medium speak to you!
Sounds suspiciously like a free study period.
Well, that's exactly what it is. You have to fly the nest sometime.
When I close the door, it closes with an audible click, loud enough to make Caprice's head turn like a cat who just spotted a mouse.
Olive! Welcome! You're late!
Caprice, thank you. Sorry.
Up at the front desk, art supplies are scattered all over the desk, everything from paint tubes to crayons to glitter glue.
Did I interrupt you?
Glitter glue?
Yes, with perfect timing too. Come sit!
I'm good.
Whoa, what a cold response. Did you have a bad day?
I'm having a bad afternoon.
Per usual.
Huh? I thought it's been pretty nice so far.
In Eileen, bad is an average Joe's great.
Allison giggles and Eileen closes her eyes in possibly mock frustration. Even if she is sincerely upset, it melts away instantly as Allison shuffles closer to her, muttering something about the dinner plans for later. Give it an honest try. Oh, Haley, here goes nothing.
So, what's with the table? Something about a free period? I was actually hoping to review the lecture from last week.
A scary glint catches in Caprice's eyes as she pulls her hat down slightly, shadowing her face.
You walked right into my trap. Last week's lecture was all about artistic choices. Why does an artist choose dry media over wet? A 2D painting over a 3D sculpture?
I'm not really understanding this second time around either.
A true Renaissance artist was experienced in many forms of art.
Each and every medium has unique capabilities.
A true Renaissance artist.
The best thing to do to understand these artists is do.
Putting her hands on her hips, Caprice looks at all of us like a captain at the helm of a ship and waving to the rocky waters ahead.
I have things to do today, so it's up to all of you to support each other. Mostly Olive.
What? You're leaving?
I know Haley told me to expect it, but it's hard not to be disappointed all the same. Caprice turns to me, bowing her head and lowering her voice to speak to me directly.
I'm really sorry. I'm not usually flaky. I just have some family stuff to do. It is really good practice, though. Try out a few things here and see how you feel. It'll give you some insight into the strengths and weaknesses of different forms.
Funnily enough, we do know what the family stuff is all about, right? Since we played the other route, but...
cacti and plants, right? Try doing that, but in a way you haven't yet.
I'll give it a shot. I guess.
That's the spirit!
Caprice's phone buzzes in her pocket. She takes a moment to glance at the screen. Her smile wavers slightly, and when she returns to its place, her voice has lost just a bit of its excited edge.
Well, I'm up. Have a good time, everyone. Wallace, would you mind locking up my stuff when you guys leave?
Sure. Take care.
See ya, Caprice.
Eileen has already turned to her own bag, obviously ignoring the prompt for today as she takes her tubes of paint and well-used brushes. Caprice gives 2 thumbs up and hops out of the room, taking out her phone and dialing as she goes. Too late, I realized I forgot to ask her about the note she was going to lend me. I'll have to call her later and see if she'll be able to share them before the weekend. With a sigh, it looks like I have to figure this out myself. I take a look at the supplies at the table, trying to figure out what exactly to try out.
Olive.
Yeah.
Hey, Allison.
I don't think I've heard my name so many times in one day. A weird thought that I push aside for now.
I know it seems like a lot, but it's a really fun segment. I remember it from last year. Caprice brought in what she could, but if you want to try sculpting, just let me know. I have some extra clay with me.
Oh!
Sure. Thanks for the offer.
I'm not a big sculptor fan. Like, I love what you can do with sculpting. It looks amazing in the end, but I don't like the actual process of sculpting because of how sticky everything is. Also, trying to form clay might seem easy at first, but especially if you want something fine or detailed or small, it gets so hard because one wrong move, since it's a very moldable medium, one wrong move and it will be completely out of whack and all your hard work goes down the drain, and that makes me so mad. In grade school, we once made like a drinking place for birds. We were allowed to kind of choose our own shape. But even as a child, when I look back at it, I was like, wow, that thing sure is ugly as hell. And it wasn't even fun to work on it. We still have it though. We still have it. It doesn't get any use though. Allison gives me a reassuring smile. Without another word likely to give me time to think, she takes her own supplies off to a table next to Eileen. It just leaves. As my eyes fall over to Wallace, he meets my gaze evenly. I notice he doesn't have a single thing with him in the way of art. Instead of his usual tablet and laptop combo, he's holding a notebook and a ballpoint pen.
I'm not drawing today, so I won't be much help.
No worries. Do you have an art block or something?
Far from it.
He reaches with his notebook as if I'm supposed to glean some important information just from the cover. All it says is roughs and poor handwriting on the cover. What's it supposed to even mean?
I'm going to be planning out the next chapter of my comic.
Ooh!
Without drawing?
I need to write it before I can draw it. I don't know if it'll count in your case, but it's pretty easy to do if you get in the headspace for it.
I see. Thanks.
His comic! Wallace steps away to a nearby table, opening his notebook and taking out a pack of index cards. Even from here I can see the cards have a lot of writing on them. Something to reference as he goes, maybe. Oh, the options are all here, just have to pick one. Ah! I see. Hold on. Let me save this. Well, I wanted to hang out with Allison, so we're doing sculpting. Allison works on shaping a white ball of clay with her hands and a somewhat hooked tool, scraping off bits and pieces here and there. As I approach, she looks up with a bright smile to greet me.
Hey, I thought I'd take you up on that offer.
Yeah!
That's great! Come sit. There's plenty to share.
As I sit, Allison moves over her supplies to the middle of the table. Between the assortment of bright bricks and small metal tools, she's putting out an article on beginner sculpting tips. Allison hums to herself, seemingly content to work on a piece at her own pace. Without any particular instructions, I grab a green brick and try mimicking her movement.
How are you liking it? Your classes, I mean.
As she says that, I remember something vaguely about having taken the class before. With that in mind, I feel no shame in being totally honest.
I wish it were as easy as it seemed on the flyer.
She laughs and nods along. Already the little form she was pulling and shaping starts looking like a small bird.
I know. At least you have Caprice as a tutor, huh? She's, well, like she said before, she wouldn't miss an art club meeting for the world.
Is everything okay?
She pauses. The tail of the bird falls off, its connection too thin.
I'm not really sure, to be honest. She doesn't really talk to us about it. But ever since her argument with her roommate began, she's been sort of out of it. To go from the best of friends to how they're acting now? I don't know what could have happened to cause such a rift so quickly.
You're talking about Millie, right? The writing club lead?
Mm-hmm. I've tried asking, but she just insists that everything is totally okie dokie and changes the subject. If you find out anything, let me know. We're all pretty worried about her.
I'm a little surprised by how openly Allison shares her sentiments with me, a new person to the club, let alone how candidly she speaks. It's refreshing. Haley's cryptic advice from earlier still rings in my head, and hearing directly how someone feels is a relief. I give a nod. In my hands, the clay is formed into a flat, leafy shape. Allison changes the subject, asking me about where I work and what my hobbies are to pass the time. She seems nice. 1 week later.
Oh, look! A sea turtle!
He's cute.
The two girls press their hands against the glass to look at the turtle in question, which the sign explicitly says not to do. He doesn't seem to mind, lazily swimming by. They appear to be the only ones among us excited to be here. Eileen and Wallace look half interested from a couple feet away. I think I'm in the same boat as them. It's not that I don't like looking at the wonders of the sea, just not now, under these circumstances. I originally pegged Eileen's asinine field trips remark as one of her typical grumblings, but Caprice wasted no time validating her. When Caprice called me this morning to tell me if we were going to an aquarium, I almost immediately refused. I'm still wondering if I should have. The last few art club meetings alone have been more of a casual hangout than anything else, and the last thing I feel like doing is hanging out when I could be studying. Still, it's about the only opportunity I've had to even speak to Caprice since I decided to join the club, so I figured I might as well go.
Hey, are you seeing this? Pay attention, this will be on the test later.
Test.
Test?
I pack up a little for the first time since we arrived, something akin to hope swelling in my chest. Is this a roundabout review of the last few classes we've had?
There's no test.
The test!
The times good field test range, yeah. I've gotten kind of used to them though. It's like, I guess that's just how they do it in this game. It's not too bad. Taking offense to Eileen's statement, Caprice peels her eyes from the turtle, spinning dramatically to face us. I deflate a bit, any chance of actually studying out the window.
Like always, the test is gonna be the stuff we make that comes afterward. I'm expecting you to come back fully inspired.
Field trips are never just about having fun, huh?
She simply waves him off, returning her attention back to the thing.
If you can't look at a creature in its natural habitat and become inspired to draw or paint, then you're a lost cause.
These aren't their natural habitats.
They do what they can to emulate it.
It's close enough. Look at him swim.
She points again, this time to the turtle who is making another round by the glass. He twirls as he swims past, eager to give his humans a show.
And not just him. This place is filled with life.
All of it beautiful.
At least one of you gets it. Let's head to the next exhibit.
She grabs Allison's arm and the two of them pull forward. The rest of us trail behind.
She gets this excited every time we come here.
It's an aquarium! I would also get excited to go to an aquarium.
How often do you guys visit this place?
In the past year, 4 or 5 times, maybe.
Last time I came here, I was in elementary school.
Mm.
And it already feels too soon, right?
As if to justify her distaste for the place, she shivers a bit. I thought it was odd for her to dress this warm for the occasion, but it actually looks like she could do with another layer or two.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with visiting as an adult. Once in a while.
Every few years, I could see. Doesn't the novelty wear off after so many times?
Not for her.
By the time we caught up with the two, they stopped at another tank to watch more fish swim by. Caprice points to this and that as the little things swim by, rattling off facts as they go. Allison seems to be keeping up with Caprice's pace well enough.
Plankton mostly.
Right.
It's, there's a word for it.
Both of them close their eyes as if straining to think of whatever they're talking about.
There you are. You should have told me where to meet.
Oh, hey!
Mom!
She rushes to hug the woman who approached us. The uniform she's wearing matches the other aquarium employees we've seen dotted around the place thus far. By the rest of her appearance, she's definitely related to Caprice. Were it not for the shout, I might have guessed her for an older sister or maybe aunt.
Hey, here for club work?
Yep.
How about I just get an aquarium? She looks at each of us, but lingers on me with a polite smile. I'm guessing I'm the only one she doesn't know yet.
Oh, right, Mom. This is Olive. They're our newest member.
Hi.
Nice to finally meet you, Olive.
Finally. I glance over to Caprice, who smiles back at me like nothing is amiss with that statement. She extends her hand to shake, so I grasp it. The handshake is gentler than I would have assumed for someone related to Caprice. In the back of my mind, I remember all the times Caprice has dipped outside in family affairs. Her mom looks perfectly healthy though, which is a relief.
I'm Charlotte, but you can call me Charlie. Caprice's mom, as you may have gathered by now.
I don't think I'll ever be comfortable calling a peer's mom by her given name, let alone a nickname.
So, hey, you guys looking for inspiration?
Yeah.
That's the excuse.
Great. Check this out.
She plays the part of a tour guide well, leading us all to a nearby tank, each of us falling behind with various level of eagerness. As Caprice and Allison fawn over the various fish, Charlie narrows her eyes, looking for a specific creature. Eventually, she seems to spot a prize pointing toward a small pile of rubble.
He's kinda hiding, but look at that guy there. We got him in recently.
We all move closer to see the creature poking from behind the aquarium rocks.
That's a wolf eel.
A what now?
He's pretty ugly. Sorta looks like this guy.
She grins at Wallace, who responds with an exaggerated scowl.
Hey, the eel is trying his best.
Glad to see I have so many people in my corner.
Conversation doesn't even seem to register to Caprice as she keeps the entirety of her focus trained entirely on the timid creature.
He's cool.
He is ugly, though.
Totally.
He's also not really an eel.
Oh?
What? He looks like one. What makes him not one?
Rather than turn to Charlie, Caprice leans further into the glass, trying to dissect the not actually an eel with her eyes.
Something to do with gills, or... you're gonna have to be the one to tell me all that stuff.
Oh, wait, I see. He has little fins behind his head.
No one else reacts, but Caprice looks extremely pleased with herself as she stands up straight.
You know, like a fish. He's a really long fish.
Is an eel not a fish? Are eels not fish? Rather than show how ignorant I am about the classification of marine life, I'm more interested in how Caprice knew that in the first place.
Are you studying this stuff alongside art?
Both Caprice and her mom turn to me in response. While Caprice looks a bit confused at my question, Charlie is beaming.
She didn't say. Caprice here is gonna be a marine biologist.
She pats her daughter's shoulder with pride. Caprice looks a bit sheepish.
It's what I plan on studying in university anyway.
These two seem to get along well.
Like mother like daughter, or?
Eel or fish. Okay.
No, she's smarter than me. I just memorize scripts and whatnot. Though you can't work here long without learning some stuff.
I'm more about marine mammals, though. We should go see the otters next.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to it.
You might want to wait. Feeding time's coming up soon.
Speaking of feeding time, if we're gonna be waiting anyway, we may as well grab something to eat.
I'm on my lunch break. We can all go together.
That's good. The aquarium has a little sea-themed cafe, more a cafeteria than a restaurant. The menu items have various aquatic names to mask the fact that it's all box standard food. So next to Caprice as we serve ourselves at a tiny salad bar. Or rather, for the first time since we arrived, Caprice has slowed down, specifically to stand next to me, it seems.
Hey!
She speaks in a sharp whisper like she's telling me a secret.
How are you enjoying it so far?
Enjoying what? The aquarium?
She nods earnestly, glancing back at our group a few paces ahead of us.
Well, it's nice. Yeah.
It's the best! But, I wanted to make sure you're actually having a good time. I know I haven't been the most reliable person to you lately.
She smiles a bit distantly. I guess my reluctance to enjoy the field trip has shown more than I thought. Or she's better at reading people than she lets on.
I mean, it hasn't been all bad. The club has been perfect for catching up on the practical assignments, but I would really appreciate any help with the exam portion too.
Absolutely! Our next meeting will be extra crunchy. You'll see!
What the fuck is this supposed to mean?
Anyway, I really appreciate you giving it your all, including coming here. I have to beg Eileen and Wallace to tag along for these sometimes.
She laughs a bit, despite the fact that it doesn't really sound like a joke. Still, I give her a smile in return. We finish piling up our salads and find our seats at Charlie's table, with the other three in our party off at another quietly. The other three in our party off at another quietly chatting amongst themselves.
So, Olive, have you ever been here before?
Kind of. Like I told Eileen earlier, the last time I was here was in elementary school.
Caprice loved this place as a kid. Couldn't get enough.
More than now? More than 4 to 5 times a year?
She would drag me here. There was nothing I could do.
Yeah, right. You begged me to come.
No, I had no choice.
Given her enthusiastic invitation this morning, it's hard to buy Caprice's case here.
I couldn't just leave you at home. You did love it, though.
It's alright, I guess. A solid 7. Maybe an 8 when the winter decorations are up.
She's not fooling anyone, not even herself. In fact, she's willing to quietly admit with a smile. The way these two effortlessly bounce off each other is something to be admired, and I can't help but match hers and Charlie's grins, albeit considerably smaller. It's a question that eventually creeps into my mind that causes my smile to waver a bit, but if it's anything like my own situation, it might get awkward where I toss.
There wasn't always someone around to watch her for me, so I'd take her to work sometimes. This place was pretty accommodating, thankfully.
She answered my question without the need to bring it up myself. Charlie's demeanor remains unchanged, so at least it doesn't seem like too much of a sore spot.
I get that. My mom had to bring me into work now and then too.
I guess our family lives weren't super different growing up. A small vague feeling of melancholy flickers in me for a moment, though I don't know whether it's for myself or Caprice.
If it wasn't Mom bringing me in for work, it was Grandpa driving me up here just to visit. I was raised by the sea.
She tilts her head up slightly, bringing the back of her left hand up to her forehead in a dramatic fashion.
And this junky cafe food.
Charlie frowns for a moment as she stares at a small bowl of soup in front of her. Between that and the salads Caprice and I opted for, we ended up getting the most sophisticated items on the menu, which says altogether way too much about the meal selection here.
Things are changing now, though. How's Mike?
He's fine, thank you. How's Millie? Have you tried talking to her again?
So anyway, when's otter time?
Something that looks like genuine disappointment finally makes its way to Charlie's face. It doesn't really suit her after seeing her smile non-stop since I met her.
Caprice.
Don't worry, Mom. Things will work out fine, I'm sure.
I sure hope so. I wouldn't want to...
Mom, really? It'll be okay.
Conversations go like this for the rest of lunch. The other club members occasionally chime in from a table away when prompted. They seem to be pretty familiar with Caprice's mom, Charlie, talking as if they're old friends. Though we had pretty similar upbringings, I couldn't imagine bickering with my mom so much, even if it's all in jest. Although it's different than I'm used to, it's still a relationship I can understand. There's a closeness when all you have is each other. Grace mentioned a grandpa, and I'm sure other friends and family members came in and out throughout their life, but her core family was her and her mom. I know what that's like. When it's just the two of you, you hold on to each other as best as you can. Before long, Charlie declares it's almost feeding time, so we make our way to the otter exhibit. Aww! She's the one who directs the crowd to watch, explaining as a handler feeds the critters.
5% of their body weight a day. Wow!
As she's giving the speech, her voice is loud and cheerful. I can definitely see where Caprice gets it from. That is really a cute little things. Even Eileen and Wallace seem interested, while Allison looks like she's about to cry from her cuteness, clutching her mouth, and Caprice...
Olive, look! Ollie the otter! Olive too.
She laughs, apparently finding this amusing. I show her the grimace she probably expects as she laughs more. Reese gets excited about everything it seems. Yet I feel like today I'm seeing her watch something she really truly loves.
Don't forget, when we get back, we're drawing otters. Or wolf eels.
Not that she doesn't laugh out, of course. Ollie the otter. Well, I mean, it's better than Ottie the otter. When my class is done for the day, I make my way to the club room. At this point, it's starting to feel like a part of my usual routine. I thought that scares me at least a little bit. What's not usual, however, is Caprice standing outside of the door. I pull my phone out as I approach the door just to double check the time. I'm definitely not early.
Hiya!
Hi.
Hey.
She idly plays with a paperclip, content to ignore the elephant in the room.
So, do I need to ask why we're not inside?
Oh, it's 'cause I forgot the keys at home today.
Oh, that's all. How silly of me.
So is the club canceled today then? Or are we moving somewhere else, or...?
Nah, just waiting on Allie to show up. She should be around soon. I think her classes are about done.
Oh, does she have a spare key?
No, but she knows how to break in.
Well,
Yeah.
she can get the door open.
Mm-hmm. There are a dozen different ways to read a sly smile on her face, and none of them seem pleasant.
Oh, perfect timing! Allie!
Caprice stands on her tiptoes, glancing over my shoulder. I match her and spin my head around to get a glimpse of Allison approaching us. Even from a distance, her frown is obvious.
Again?
Caprice tosses her the paperclip as Allison makes her way next to me.
Again. Sorry.
You know I don't like doing this. Especially not out in the middle of the hall.
That's why I apologized.
With a sigh, Allison unbends the paperclip and crouches down so her eyes meet the lock on the door. It takes until she inserts the clip into the door for me to fully process what's happening.
Oh, wait.
Shh. Just watch.
Allison's entirely still, outside of her hands going through some motions she's clearly had to practice several times before. I think to move my body to try and cover her better so it's not entirely obvious what's happening. If someone were to walk upon us, but Allison twists the handle and the door pops open before I get a chance. As Allison stands back up, Caprice gives her a quick hug for a reward.
Thanks. You're the best.
And you're the worst.
So she says, but the two share a small laugh regardless.
Where did you pick that up? Actually, why did you pick that up?
Oh,
Allison releases herself from Caprice's embrace and turns back around, reminded that I'm still here.
it was just something fun to learn. I don't actually do it outside of playing around with locks and stuff at home, though.
And the club door?
And the club door. But that's all.
She helps with the cupboards and all the other locks inside, too. Eileen also told me this story about a vending machine.
Thank you, Caprice.
That cat is now securely out of the bag, much to Allison's dismay. Caprice's grin is a mile wide in contrast.
Maybe we should continue this inside so people can't hear.
Yes, good idea.
Allison swings the door the rest of the way open and is the first to find her way to her usual spot. Caprice and I shuffle in behind, with Caprice wasting no time to set herself at the front of the classroom.
You know, nefarious implications aside, it's a pretty cool skill to have.
It is. Allison and I continue to shuffle through our respective bags, pulling out our supplies and organizing them on our desks.
Honestly, stuff like that is in one ear and out the other for me. As soon as I understand something at a basic level, it exits my brain instantly. The only reason that hasn't yet is because of, well, you saw.
You're welcome, by the way.
No, Caprice forgot them at home. She said so. She forgot the keys at home, that's why. Before Allison showed up.
It's neat that you're just able to pick things up like that, though. I can't juggle my attention around to save my life.
I don't think that's a bad thing. Even if you know you can't focus on multiple things, you'll eventually learn to laser focus on something, right?
I finish unpacking my sketchbook and notes from class and place my bag on the floor. Allison looks to almost be done as well, pulling out a small box of clay.
Jumping around a lot makes it hard to stick with one thing. You'll be a better artist than me by the end of this.
Maybe it's one of those doors that locks as soon as you close it? Like an auto lock or something? I don't know. Eager to prove her wrong, I open my sketchbook and flip through what few pages I filled in the past couple of weeks. They all seem bad to me in a moment, but to my surprise there's at least some sort of difference, no matter how small.
You'll have me beat in ceramics at least.
She exchanges a brief smile with me before turning to her box and starting on her next project. If I had her ability to multitask, I wouldn't even be in this situation, but I'm starting to feel like I can make it work. To get ready to start filling out a new page in my sketchbook, the door opens once more as I lean and want to step inside.
There you are! Okay, today's club meeting is now officially in session!
I don't think it's gonna be addressed how they actually get the door closed again. Or locked, I guess. I wake to my phone buzzing incessantly. It's not the alarm I'm used to hearing. Without leaving the comfort of my bed, I reach to grab it. 5 new texts. Whoa, 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 whoa! Shh. Hey, wake up, sleepyhead. You don't have any classes today, right? Me neither. So when's a good time for you? For some tutoring, I mean? I didn't forget my promise. Text back ASAP. Oh, I'm charging you extra. Girl, calm down. Somehow her texts hold a new level of energy. Maybe they'd be a little charming if she didn't rapid fire them. Just woke up. We didn't agree on you charging me anything. Good. Brush your teeth, wash your face, take a shower, and get ready to go. Go where? Tutoring! I said that! Pay attention! I mean, on campus? Nah, we could meet somewhere, or maybe I could come over? It's fine, I guess. Oh wait, you could come here! Go to Caprice's place, huh? Will Millie be there? Still fighting, right? Do you really want to go directly into the trenches of that war zone? Your roommate's okay with that? Yeah! Don't worry about it. Everything's under... They got it. Control! She types at 120 words per minute. That's how she sent all of those in a single minute. You gonna need an address? Of course! So she gives it to me along with some confusing directions that I'll ignore and find online instead. We decide on a time for me to come over as well. Since I work tonight, I'd like to get this done early. Once again, she's ambushed me. Increasingly, my decision to join her art club is filling my everyday even outside the club room. Regardless, I feel a strange sense of relief wash over me. She didn't forget her promise. With the finals inching closer each passing day, a promise of genuine tutoring is like a ray of light in the darkness. From the beginning, I knew that choosing the art club meant trusting in Caprice. I need to get ready to go, which means giving my all into today's reviews. I don't know when I get another chance like this. My grades are hinging on it. I haven't gone to many other places. I haven't gone to many other people's places in my adult life. I can't help but feel a little nervous. The fact that I might find myself physically stuck between Caprice and Millie definitely doesn't help matters either. If they weren't afraid to go back and forth on campus, I can only imagine the terrors that happen in the privacy of their home. All this absent-minded musing has given me just enough time to pedal my way to the entrance of the complex, and to push aside any lingering worries on it. From the outside, the building looks nicer than I expected. I guess that's what 3 people together can afford. I press the doorbell and immediately I hear muffled shouting on the other side. The door unlocks and swings open, and I'm greeted with the smiling face of Caprice.
Welcome!
Hi!
You're late.
The sudden shift in tone stings more than it should.
Yeah. Sorry, got held up just a little bit by traffic today.
The smile quickly returns, her disappointment nothing more than a joke.
Don't worry. We'll just do double time. Come in.
It's only like 5 minutes.
Caprice turns and bounces back inside. I hesitantly follow her lead. Now I know for sure the apartment is definitely bigger than mine, and it certainly looks lived in. In the living room, clothes and books and various items lay strewn about. Maybe I shouldn't have expected them to be tidier. Haley sits on a couch flicking through her phone.
Hello.
Hey.
Haley's here. She won't be joining us for tutoring.
I mean, I didn't expect her to.
I'm banned from all art club activities while acting as a traitor to the other side.
I try not to look too obvious as I glance around.
What about,
Millie? She's out.
Long gone. At least for a few hours.
I feel my shoulders relax. That's one thing I don't have to worry about today.
Let's get to work.
I give the apartment a quick once-over. I want to start making my way to whatever study area she may have planned out, but everything is so messy.
where?
The counter.
She points toward the kitchenette wherein lies the counter in question. It's covered in books, paperwork, and a variety of other so-and-sos. I guess that qualifies as the most studious place here. I wonder where they eat then. With that in mind, I notice a cluttered countertop and a sink full of dirty dishes. This kitchen and its contents have clearly gone to waste.
Do you guys ever cook in here?
Cook?
Not.
Ollie! Ollie.
Looking like she's about to admonish me, she pauses for dramatic effect.
That microwave gets everyday use.
That does not constitute as cooking. I'm sure.
Right. Are you really sticking with that?
With what?
Ollie.
Ever since our fateful encounter with Ollie the Other, Caprice has decided the name suits me.
You don't like it?
The only person who calls me that is my mom. It's kind of embarrassing.
It's cute!
It's pretty cute, Ollie.
That just embarrasses me more. I hear this enough from Mom as is. While Caprice is being genuine, I'm almost certain Haley's playing along just to mess with me. Her little smile definitely makes it seem that way.
I'm just not used to
We're
it.
such a new school cooking.
I mean, do you really have to?
Hey! Don't say that.
Yes, it's important.
Super important.
I sigh. This topic isn't important enough to argue.
Do what you want.
Thank you for the vet. Caprice's fist pumps in tiny victory. She begins the task of moving things off the table and out of our way. I join in to help, but following her lead, I just place them in some other cluttered part of the room.
Are you three managing well enough on takeout and frozen dinners?
Well enough.
You know how it is. College life.
If there's one thing I'm absolutely clueless about, it's college life.
I don't know about that. I cook as often as I can.
Right? But that isn't always an option.
I can make eggs.
It's something, at least.
I don't like eggs.
Caprice cannot.
Haley's head swivels, a small frown revealing itself. I follow her line of sight as best as I'm able, eventually landing on a microwave Caprice claims is well loved. Caprice cuts my concerned gaze off by jumping between myself and the kitchen.
Anyway,
She pulls a chair out from under the table and geishas to it.
you wait here, and I'll go grab the stuff we need.
She bolts off, presumably toward her bedroom. I share a glance with Haley, but she shrugs.
Want a tour?
Sure.
Without moving from a spot, she geishas down the hall.
Bathroom and bedrooms are that way. That's about it. You've seen everything else.
Thanks. I really think I've got my bearings now.
I'm not sure whether her tempted humor is just Haley being Haley or her struggling to make proper conversation. Given that the letter follows my response, my guess is the latter.
Caprice still struggling with making meetings, huh?
Yeah, things have been really busy for her, apparently.
You think you have enough time to catch up?
I don't know yet. Do you think I made the wrong choice?
Nah, you're right where you need to be. You two can figure it out.
I expected there to be a moment of reflection before she continued, but her response was surprisingly immediate.
That aside, I hope my being here isn't making things worse, at least.
I was under the impression you were here to get a passing grade.
Well, obviously. But that doesn't mean I want to give Caprice a hard time.
Aww, your empathy is showing.
Aww. Color rises to my face as she gives me a sly smile. I feel like she's messing with me somehow. Before I can say anything else, Caprice returns. Her hands are full of books and loose papers.
Here we go. This is everything I have from my past art classes. Basic fundamentals, a bit of history.
Haley's a very good character, yes. She empathizes by poking her thing on top of the stack.
Plus some personal stuff I brought.
Digging through the pile, she pulls out a floppy textbook. I recognize it immediately. I brought the same book myself. Art, what is it, and much more.
Did you bring yours too? That'll make it a bit easier.
Thank you for the heighty time and the pet.
It's in my bag.
I explain as I begin taking it out along with a couple other required texts.
Good.
She takes a seat and pulls out a stool next to her, beckoning me to follow. Once I've complied, she returns her attention to the book in front of her.
So in the club, we've been working on basic art techniques, and that's good. But the class is also about this stuff.
She quickly flips the pages like it's a flip book.
Art history, art theory, art knowledge.
Hi, Sagi! Good evening!
So how much do you know?
Who are you? I open the book and stare at the page I've randomly turned to. I'm not sure what I'm looking for. In truth, I've barely even opened this thing ever since stressing about it at the diner way back when. Caprice was right, the professor hardly ever brings it up in class. I've been hoping all this time to look at it in the art club, so I also put up my own independent study.
Okay, we'll start with chapter 1.
I'm good. Glad to hear it.
Chapter 1 it is then.
Good luck.
Wrong again. Take another look. An important thing to look at is the values and shading.
I look, dumbfounded, at the picture in the book. It's an old painting. Caprice's hand covers the caption. I'm not even exactly sure what values refers to.
Does this even matter?
It'll probably be on the test.
Do you know the answer?
Yes.
Yes! I give a long sigh, leaning back against my chair slightly. Why did I think this would be any easier in the first place? They're more stupid than ever, the beginner questions of the book completely escaping me. Caprice closes her eyes, refocusing herself to find a new angle of attack. Something eventually must come to her, so eyelids open, and she focuses in on me.
You're taking this class because you're struggling, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously. It's not like I'm against...
I know I'm tutoring you, but I hate asking for help. Feeling like you're unable to do something yourself is the worst. Seminars are actually really hard for me. It feels impossible for me to learn from someone else droning on and on. I want to just skip sometimes.
Okay. For the first time ever, it sounds like Caprice is complaining. Compared to her usual dramatic grandstanding now, this feels a bit different.
But I really want to pass all my classes too, you know? So I go because it's my only chance to learn all the stuff that isn't in a book. I love marine animals. I really want to work with them someday. So I keep trying my hardest. And even with the stuff I struggle with, I get through to the end somehow.
Mm-hmm.
You have to try your hardest in everything you do. Nothing's totally insurmountable.
She tilts her head, trying her best to get the rest of the thought out of her brain.
Well, the stuff that's important to you at least. Does this matter is up to you.
I look down at the pages of the book, not focusing on
I
anything.
mean, this stuff is important. I want to pass. That's why I'm here. It just feels disconnected from me. I don't understand how to look at fine art and understand what I'm looking at, much less how to do it myself.
She scratches her head, clawing for an idea.
You just sort of feel it in your bones.
Yeah, Caprice, I don't think you're going to get through to someone who's not really had any connection to art their whole life by going, oh, you just feel it. Because they don't.
I don't think anyone can teach me how to do that.
Well, maybe it's just that this study method isn't good.
Got any better ideas?
She scratches her head even harder. The fervent scratching stops as she crosses her arms in front of her in thought.
Let's take a break. I'm hungry.
Girl!
Yeah, sure.
She had my attention for a second there, but it seems like the moment has passed.
What do you want to do for lunch?
Well...
I let my eyes wander around the mistreated kitchenette. I don't mind them ordering fast food, but between my small exchange with Haley and Caprice's surprisingly open speech, I feel like it would be rude of me as a guest to let them worry about that today. And well, I guess my empathy is showing.
If you guys are okay with it, I could cook something.
Caprice immediately lights up at the suggestion. Even when she's mostly hidden behind the couch, it's not hard to see I've gotten Haley's attention either.
I need a clean space first.
Oh, right.
We can help with that.
Box spaghetti, olive oil, a little bit of garlic, salt and pepper, grated cheese, some pepperoncini would be nice, but this is more than enough.
This should be good enough. No one has any allergies or intolerances, right?
Nope.
Lactose, but I'll still eat cheese. Thanks.
Classic. Haley's lactose intolerant, of course she still eats cheese and will consume milk products because there's not a single lactose intolerant person that I've seen in this life that doesn't actually consume milk products.
That's okay. Most cheeses...
I look over and see the two of them are giving the undivided attention. Haley's expression is hard to read as usual, but Caprice is looking on with genuine interest.
Usually fine. In any case, just sit back. This shouldn't take very long.
I set the pasta to boil.
You know, this is pretty easy to do. I think you can learn just by watching.
Would you call a life without cheese living? You asking the person who doesn't like cheese. I don't know, dude. But I don't like cheese, so I'm the wrong person to ask.
Oh, I've done it before.
So not just eggs, huh?
I get to work on the sauce as well, giving each ingredient a small sniff before throwing it in the pot, not fully willing to trust the things in this mess of a kitchen.
As long as the instructions are easy, I can do it. But, you know, sometimes you just don't feel like it.
That's fair.
How often is sometimes?
Most?
I can't stop myself from sighing. This isn't really a good way to live.
It's a good thing we have you.
I'm not gonna be your personal chef.
She snaps her fingers.
Darn, you seem really good at it.
Because that's what I do for work.
Well, that's my job.
Oh, right. The trolley diner.
You picked up everything just from that?
More or less. I only really had to learn the basics for the menu, but I like to research things on my own. And I wanted to try new things for my mom and me back home.
That's cool.
Yeah, impressive.
Not exactly a gourmet chef.
But you know a lot, right? And you're actually a pro.
I don't know if knowing how to put together a BLT or scramble an egg makes me a pro.
I think that anyone could learn to do what I do at work.
The fact that you're practically self-taught isn't nothing, though.
Some gears seem to be turning in Caprice's head as she crosses her arms again. I'm terrified of what could be coming next.
Yeah! Say, Ollie, what's the origin of this dish?
Not quite what I was expecting.
What? Spaghetti?
She nods enthusiastically. Haley smirks at me. I can tell if I'm being made fun of.
It's Italian. Common with tomato sauce, but you guys didn't have any. This is a little more traditional.
Funnily enough, I had spaghetti earlier. For dinner. I get the box that once held the noodles.
Not that this is authentic Italian or anything.
How do you know that?
Huh? Doesn't everyone?
Yeah, but there are things that make it definitely Italian, right?
Sure. Olive oil is a big one in Italian dishes, but the way the noodles are...
Oh, I see what's happening. I shift my eyes from the back of the pasta box to my tutor. She gives an embarrassed looking "you got me" smile.
You get it, right? This is the same exact thing! No matter what you're learning, the building blocks are all the same from pasta to paintings. At least that's what the class is trying to say. You can make an Italian dish because you know what makes one up. And if you know what makes up a Baroque-style painting, you can recognize it and paint your own.
Again, Caprice has surprised me enough to keep my attention.
It's just like cooking. You just try stuff out until you get the hang of it.
Considering what little I know about her culinary escapades, that alone explains so much.
Wait, no. It's really not the same at all. I read recipes. I also have my manager at work constantly watch over me and tell me if what I was doing was right or wrong. I'm not really the type to learn by just diving headfirst and hoping for the best.
Something clicks for both of us and we swivel to meet each other's gaze.
Aha! That's it then. I'm gonna have to teach you all the recipes for every art movement. That'll be easy. Consider me the soup chef of social movements.
It's a sous chef, not a soup chef. I don't even want to correct her.
Oui, chef.
She definitely didn't see my offer to cook in the cards today, so actually being able to tie it all in on the spot is impressing me more than the actual lesson. True, her attempt to connect was a little clumsy, but it definitely worked. I think we both understand each other a bit better. I begin to drain the pasta.
When I originally thought of an elective art class, I thought I'd just be drawing whatever, which seemed doable. It's hard to consider all the history and stuff alongside it, though.
That's what most people say when they do art on a school basis, because it's not just drawing whatever, but it's always going to be connected to the history. And the history of art is extensive.
The art we do today is built on the art of the past. Or something like that. I think cooking is probably the same?
It is, yeah. But I understand, so we don't need to keep stretching the comparisons.
Same with music classes. Yeah, for sure. Finally, at the end of the lesson, I returned to watching the pot in front of me.
Food's about done, by the by.
I'm glad we hit the important part of the lesson. Good job, team.
Yeah, Haley. Over lunch, Caprice tried tutoring me from the books and more. Haley looked on with what I can only guess is amusement. I don't know if anything changed within me because of what she said, but for some reason talking about it while eating the spaghetti I cooked made it feel a little easier to get into.
Thanks for the lunch.
Thank you for helping me out. Really.
I promised I would.
If you liked it, I could teach you how to make something like this sometime too.
Yeah.
Just make sure you have a fire extinguisher. Or 3, handy if you do.
Ooh.
Hey, it wasn't that bad.
Haley visibly shudders.
It was worse than bad.
What happened?
It was one mistake. Don't worry about it.
She ushers me out the door, closing it behind her.
Forget about that.
You're not going to tell me?
Nope. It's the past. Let's keep looking forward.
Uh-huh. Well, thanks again for the tutoring.
I hope some of it stuck. You can be thick-headed.
Oh, really? And you're not?
I'm the teacher here.
I think she did worse than just set the pan on fire, going by everyone's reaction.
Besides, I've cracked the code. You're never going to be able to get rid of me or my fun history facts.
Oh? How was that?
Give me your phone and you'll see.
Alright, good luck cracking that code then.
I didn't think it would actually be 1, 2, 3, 4. Your actual password isn't password, is it?
I'd like to move on from this topic.
With a few quick swipes, Caprice navigates to my contacts and opens up her own profile. A couple taps later, music starts playing.
Ta-da! I'm gonna send you a million notes.
Oh no.
Every single day will be a quiz.
Oh no. I don't think I've ever set a custom ringtone before, so I wouldn't be able to change it even if I tried. She snickers. The smell left behind on her face is contagious. She got me. After a moment, she passes back my phone.
Don't forget, club meeting tomorrow. See you then.
The worst part is I do know people whose actual phone passwords are also 1, 2, 3, 4, and I don't know. Most phones only require a 4-digit password, passcode, which is not even good. Like, at least make it longer. You have the option to make those passcodes longer. It's like, make it some combination of numbers that means something to you, but don't make it 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, same as always. Take care.
She re-enters the apartment, slamming the door behind her. I retrieve my bag and prepare for the ride home. Later, I catch myself at work cooking with a little more enthusiasm than normal. Ah. Oh yeah, Olive, let's go. Just have Vert as the window. Really? Why? I must stick out like a sore thumb in this room full of nonchalant students as the professor passes around a stack of handouts.
I know we're a ways off, but I like to assign the final for this course relatively early.
While my peers' eyes largely seem to glaze over, I find myself desperately clinging to every word.
I don't think this is a hard class, but I do expect a few things from you. For this project, I not only want to see a technical understanding, but also a window into your mind. I want to see you know what art is, not just how to execute it.
Bruh.
It's a bit of a subjective metric, which is why I want to assign this early. I can teach you the former, but it's up to you to figure out how to present the latter. I want to give you time to stew on it.
It's no surprise Caprice had mentioned taking classes with this professor before. They both seemed to enjoy the philosophy of it all almost more than they liked the medium itself. The fact that my tutor holds the same teaching style as my professor should come as a relief, but I can't help but feel the knots forming in my stomach. No matter how much I study, it could still come crashing down if I don't measure up to his invisible standards. Whether it was a deliberate act after sensing my worries or a simple disregard for personal space, a small bump from Caprice's elbow drags me out of my own head and back into reality. I do use a password, but it's a few more than just 4. 2 more numbers. I'm sure she wanted to say a piece on no matter what class is out, so I decided to keep my head down as I pour over the assignment sheet hundreds of times until the top of the hour. I don't think iPhone can use a pattern. I think you're forced to use a number code. Grace is quick to meet my pace as we exit the room, then quickly winding smile on her face, making it clear she's eager to talk.
See, Oli? Passing's gonna be easy peasy.
Yeah, I don't think I quite agree with that. Simple disregard for personal space it is.
I think you and I have different definitions of easy and peasy.
I think the standard is actually 4-digit code. I grin remained steadfast, while part of me wishes she'd willed at least a little with me for the sake of validation. I'm glad my pessimism isn't contagious. Or maybe it was just 4 a few years ago and it's 6-digit codes now. Maybe. I don't know.
Nah, you're already on the right path to acing everything with flying colors. Just gotta keep up with the club and you'll have absolutely nothing to worry about.
The club. I'm not sure how to feel about it right now. On the one hand, every time Caprice had to leave early, all we focused on were the windows to our minds. At the same time, it's like being given toy blocks and suddenly being told to build a real house afterwards. Without a solid foundation and compared to real artists like Aline and Wallace, I'm just playing pretend. When my dour expression doesn't give, Caprice visibly ponders my reaction for a moment.
We don't have a meeting today, but we can head to the room anyway if you want. I can help brainstorm ideas with you.
No, it's just the standard options are like 4 or 6 or choose however long you want it. Something along those lines. Wait, hold on. Where is that? Passcode. Passcode options: a 4-digit numeric code, a 6-digit numeric code, custom numeric code, or custom alphanumeric code. The standard the options on an iPhone. I don't know if she would. Lately our text messages are filled with her scattershot tips and tricks for remembering every art movement. While we haven't found time for additional study sessions, her promise to help me out more is held true. Unfortunately,
I can't today, sorry. I've got a shift at work starting in an hour or so.
the fire's lighting up at this revelation worries me more than it should.
I could come with.
I ride my bike to work.
Uh-huh.
My one-seater bike.
In truth, I could probably fit another person on it if I absolutely had to, but it's as good of an excuse as any.
Oh, yeah, right.
One visit to my place of work was troubling enough. When I think of my mom eating her, I instinctively shrink away, hoping Caprice won't reach the next obvious idea.
Ah, I could just take the trolley. I still remember where it is, so I'll just drop by later.
Oh well. I double-check her directions before sending her off, not wanting her to get lost now that she's already committed. Given its unique exterior, I doubt she'll have any issues finding it again.
I'll be actually working, though. If things are busy, we might not get a chance to talk at all.
No problem. I'm patient.
I've never believed a statement less in my life. Yeah.
What's this?
With things starting to slow down as customers begin leaving, Mom finds the time to surprise me with a few small flowers living comfortably in a tiny ceramic pot. Pots adorned with some bright painted on patterns and shapes.
Another companion for your windowsill. I also figured I'd pick up a brush and try painting something myself, so it'd feel like we were learning something together.
Oh, that's so sweet. The flowers are vibrant and obviously healthy, likely from Mom's own garden. Considering how I got my green thumb from her, it's no surprise to see how carefully taken care of they've been. You would think she hated me, trying to drag me to tears during work hours. Thankfully, the sound of my phone going off pulled us away from the sentimental gesture right before I hit that tipping point. Alert! Now. Lesson 53, values. This is yours. Oh, great. My old art. My favorite. This is yours too. When I told you to fill the background with black, it was a trick. It made you think about your light more, not just the darkness. Just like... No more responses. I can only assume she ran out of data.
You okay, honey?
Yeah, my friend was just...
Coruscaro!
Gesundheit. My heart leaps out of my chest as Caprice bursts into the restaurant. I nearly dropped my phone, scrambling to keep hold of it. Caprice stands proudly in the door, huffing and catching her breath. Did she sprint here for the punchline?
Were you talking about me? Looks like I got here right on time.
I don't know if that's what I call it. I was going to introduce her beforehand, but, well, now's as good a time as any to rip this bandage off, I guess.
Goodness! Nice to meet you.
Caprice, this is my mom. Mom, this is my friend who's been helping me out with tutoring and stuff.
So I heard.
Mom laughs loudly and faced by her explosive entrance. Almost simultaneously, they exchange large smiles.
It is so good to finally meet you. Olive talks about you all the time, you know.
All of it is good, I hope.
Naturally.
They're quick to get lost in their own conversation, pushing me off to the side as they catch up like old friends. Well. Aww.
The fact that you work with your mom is so cool. I want to do that someday too.
We make a good team.
Mom beams at my response. It's a relief to see I can still make a positive impact on her mood. I eye over my new little flower pot.
Oh yeah, I noticed that when I came in. What's the deal with all the flowers?
I must have given Caprice an excuse to bring it up with my careless gaze. Thankfully, Mom seems fine retreading the topic with her.
Oh, I just wanted to give Ollie a little something for all their hard work lately. Besides, Quinn needed a friend anyway.
Quinn?
Mom looks to me to answer the query. I wish she had picked a better time to involve me in a conversation outside of one of the more embarrassing sentences I've said today.
It's the name of the cactus I take care of at home.
That's a cute name for a cactus.
Aww.
The fact that that sounded sincere just makes the embarrassment worse.
I painted the pot too, you know. An indirect inspiration from you helping Ollie along, actually.
A light bulb seems to go off in Caprice's head.
Your mom's got the right idea, Ollie. Regardless of what's being drawn or painted or whatever, something like a gift is gonna have a bunch of heart put into it. You're just gonna have to tap into that kind of energy for your final.
I guess that makes sense, but it feels like trying to brute force something like that for a grade goes against the entire concept.
Maybe I'll just turn this in for my final grade then.
That's no fun. I want to see what kind of work you can do.
In a way, maybe the art club and all of our activities have been a stroke of secret genius on Caprice's part. With all the emphasis on just doing art, it's a lot less daunting of a concept. Mom's gift is an example. She put her heart into it, and I know she hasn't been studying color theory or the golden ratio. Even as people start filing in and orders are placed, I find myself coming back to Caprice's table more and more. She orders herself her usual fries to not take up a table. Not that Mom or I would ask her to leave anyway. The afternoon becomes evening as we while away the time. The incoming dinner rush eventually forces both Mom and I to focus more on work, but even then, Mom makes time to grab Caprice's refills and ask more about her. I keep catching Caprice stealing glances at the flowers, and at one point she finally regards me with an apologetic look.
Hey, Ollie. Sorry for promising to help with coming up with ideas, but I gotta bail. I want to buy some art supplies on the way home and the shop will be closing soon.
no problem. I think I get the basic idea anyway. We can talk more at the next meeting.
I'm used to these early exits. At least that's what I tell myself. It's harder to wrestle with wanting her to stay somehow.
Hopefully sooner.
She bounces to her feet. Before leaving the streetcar, she turns to us one last time.
It was nice to meet you, ma'am. You've been a real help to me, too.
And with a small wave, she's gone.
I like her.
Yeah.
She's nice. A couple days later. By now, this is becoming a regular part of my life. Meeting with Caprice and the others every couple days, sometimes more than that. It's been long enough for things to start feeling familiar. Caprice at the front of the room, sitting at her throne while the other three are off minding their own business. Today, though, something's different.
Oh, okay. How about this sort of lighting, then? Does that look right?
That'd make the shadows too harsh and ruin the atmosphere you're going for.
Caprice and Eileen hunched over a phone, talking in a way that could almost be mistaken as civil. Curiosity gets the better of me as I step forward to take a peek along with a greeting, only for Caprice to hastily bring the screen to her chest as she jumps in surprise at my appearance.
Oh! Ollie! Hi!
Am I interrupting something?
I was just getting some input from Eileen about my final.
Eileen's face mirrors my own skepticism. I catch myself feeling unusually hurt that she tried to so transparently to hide something from me, but it's a small enough exchange for me to bury down and refocus on why I'm here to begin with.
Sure. On the subject of finals, I wanted to start talking about mine, actually.
The phone, Eileen, me. Caprice's head filters between us, her expression deflating a little more between each movement.
Yeah, you're...
If it's just bouncing off ideas for now, Wallace and I can help you today if you want.
Allison pairs her elbow from the back of the room with a small wave, as if to remind the three of us up front that she's still there. Wallace looks indifferent to being dragged into offer to help, which is a step up from rejecting it, I suppose.
That'd be perfect! Ollie could use some additional input anyway, right?
She gives me a wide smile and, before giving me a chance to respond, goes back to poring over her phone with Eileen, the back and forth odd mumblings acting as the only noise in the otherwise silent room.
If it's more about the thought than the execution, then I don't understand why you're stressed about it.
The final could just be sign your name, and I'd be worried beyond belief considering what's on the line here.
Fair enough. Still think you're drastically overthinking things, though.
That's me, I'm an overthinker. I can't expect others to feel the weight of my situation, but I at least wish I didn't have to explain it so often.
You'll be fine. You said you wanted to talk with Caprice about it, right? Did you have any ideas? Maybe we can help push you in the right direction.
When Caprice initially explained it to me back at the diner, I told her I understood it, but now that I've been prompted for my thoughts, I find myself doubting how much I meant that.
I enjoy taking care of my plants, so maybe like a flower or something?
I think the gaps of silence in the middle of my sentences really help sell my pitch.
Yikes.
Despite Allison looking deep in thought, it was Wallace in his deadpan expression to reply first. I wish his response didn't immediately send a chill down my spine, though.
I know I just said this, but you're thinking too hard. Actually, it may be better to say your thinking is too rigid. I'm not your professor, but the way you described it sounds to me like he doesn't want a picture of something you like. He wants a picture showing how much you like it, if that makes sense.
That sounds infinitely more complicated to me.
It doesn't have to be. It's just like... a feeling? Sorry, Caprice is a lot better at this than I am.
The mention of Caprice causes me to disengage from the conversation, dragging my eyes to the front of the room where she and Eileen are still quietly talking shop. Split up into two groups on opposite ends of the room, it feels like we're a world apart. I tried pushing it out of my mind, but I really do wonder what she's working on.
It could be about Caprice, maybe?
What?
Your final, I mean.
No, I know. I just mean... what?
I think I was staring for just a second too long, or at least I hope it was just a second.
Oh, I just meant that she had been helping you with things, and maybe it'd be easier to express that gratitude through your project.
I think I'm gonna stick to botany, actually.
That's fine. It was just a thought.
If there was too bothered looking back here, we'd be quite the shore, I'm sure. Allison's smile looks as sincere as it does timid. Wallace's slight smirk and the heat rising in my face must make for an unusual combination for any would-be onlooker.
She does have the right idea, though. You need to stop trying to handle this so literally and focus on telling a story instead. A picture is worth 1,000 words, etc.
The irony of my final being boiled down to just tell a story when I decidedly opted out of the writing club is not lost on me. Nevertheless, the explanation makes some kind of sense, even if I feel like I'm not really any closer to figuring out what I want to do with it.
You guys talking about me?
It's my turn to jump from my chair as Caprice's hand pats my back.
Not really. No.
No. I respond before I can fully collect myself, desperate to not let the other two answer that question.
Bummer. Part of me wanted you to mourn my tutoring today.
Olive's going to be fine. I think Wallace explained the concept well enough, right?
Yeah.
If that's all, I think I'm going to head out. Wanna grab a coffee on the way home, Allison?
Okay.
Allison springs up as eager as I am to eject herself from this conversation. Satisfied with her partner's response, Eileen turns to Caprice.
I can keep giving advice if you want, but I can also just outright help you do it if it'd be easier.
You can't do my final for me, Eileen. That'd be cheating.
I really can't help but wonder whether she thinks she's actually fooling anyone. Eileen's size seems to serve as a sufficient substitution for a proper response to a weak attempt at a cover-up. With a quick nod to Wallace and I leans out the door with Allison right behind her. It's not long before Wallace packs up his things and follows suit as well. Packing my things up with Caprice isn't uncommon at this point, but the quieter day feels different, though I can't quite put my finger on it. I glance up from my busy work to get a read on my club leader. The energy she typically shows when stuffing papers and supplies into her backpack is absent. Instead replaced with slow, distracted actions as if her hands were simply going through the motions. She looks up and catches my eye for a moment, which mutually shocks both of us into returning to our cleaning. After a few more moments, she's the first to break the awkward silence.
Sorry for letting you down today.
Shift in tone is so sudden and opposite to her usual self that it's hard to even parse what she's even apologizing for.
Just like, I promised you at the start if you joined the club I'd be personally responsible for you, and instead I just...
She proceeds to do a small motion with her hands as if to shoo a small animal away. Her head sags as she does so, adding an additional layer of guilt to her saddened puppy bite. I'm taken aback by it. Of course I've been feeling worried and even more stressed without her presence, but seeing her expression I know without a doubt it wasn't without good reason.
Don't worry about it. I know how stressful, finals can be.
She snorts a laugh, a sad smile on her face. She must feel me looking at her, as after some hesitation she speaks again after raising her head slightly.
I wish it were just that, This whole thing with Millie has just been... I don't even know.
She messes up her own hair in frustration, then slams her hands back down on the table. I stop packing up, turning to face her. She's hung her head again, her voice a strained mix of anger and stress.
I just can't figure her out.
You two are still fighting, then?
She heaves a sigh.
Yeah. I've been pulling out all the stops to work things out, but she won't even try. It's like she's just sick of me. And, I know that's a personal problem, and you passing is super important, so it isn't fair that you have to deal with this. Sorry. This whole time, it's been like... I'm trying to solve one problem, and I just end up making a new one instead.
Thanks for letting me know what's been going on. I've been kind of worried about you. Not just me, everyone in the club. I don't know what it's like to fight for so long with someone you care about, but I'm sure you'll work it out eventually.
The smallest of pouts crosses her lips. I edge a bit closer to lean against the table she's standing in front of, trying to catch her eye.
Plus, even if you've been busy with other things, you've managed to help me out a lot. You really made a great thing here.
I give her a smile, leaning a bit to make sure she can see it and know that I mean it. She turns away slightly, but the corners of her mouth betray her brooding.
Really? How? Name 3 things.
Is she really trying to quiz me during a heart-to-heart? I can tell if she's being stubbornly competitive or attempting to make up for a lack of leadership earlier. Still, I can fail if she's going to test me.
Okay. what about pointillism? Lots of dots to make a
Oh, yeah.
picture. I think that lesson went pretty well.
Pointillism is a lot of fun. I remember when we had pointillism as a subject for like 2 classes in 10th grade. Lots of fun imitating it because you think, oh, just a bunch of dots. Anyone can do a bunch of dots. Sure. But to actually make them work so you have a cohesive picture in the end and not weird like spaces where there's like color left over or like the background still visible, stuff like that. Interesting movement though. Interesting art movement. I can get behind that one.
That was a good one. You made a really nice sunset.
Secondly, field trips. I can't remember the last time I left the house for something fun before this.
What? Ollie, that's gloomy. You're so gloomy. Like
That's me, the wet cat of the art club.
Number 3, the time you lent me all your art supplies. I don't think I would have ever tried something new otherwise.
That doesn't count. That was all Allie. That's 3 though. I guess you win.
All of that aside, you've been helping me a lot outside of your scheduled hours too. So if you need some time to handle your things with Millie, don't feel bad about it.
I'm not sure if she's just thankful to me for playing along with the bid, but it's nice to see the transition back to a default smile.
Thanks for understanding. Still, next time the meeting will be twice as long to make up for it.
Great.
Did Allison and Wallace help with brainstorming at all?
I want to say Wallace's explanation helped and ended there, but maybe Allison isn't far off the mark. It's true that by and large her lessons have always been less practical teaching and more hands-off, but I don't know how to describe it. I guess I was taking her energy and willingness for granted.
I have a few general ideas, yeah.
Ooh, do tell.
I mean, you aren't sharing yours, so...
What? Come on, I can't help like that.
You've been doing just fine so far.
Her face sitting somewhere comfortably between a powder and a smile is a good enough indication that the doom and gloom she was feeling is entirely gone. The 2 of us break off, packing our notebooks and other scholarly knickknacks away. I wasn't lying to make her feel better or anything. With that caprice in the club she built, I'd be drowning. It used to be terrifying to pick up a pencil and just start drawing. Now, even if it's bad and amateurish, I can do it. Regardless of how it turns out, she's been there to cheer me on through every mistake and push me to try again. As the club meeting is officially adjourned, I found myself thinking about how grateful I am to Caprice for just a second too long. The chill of winter has been creeping in recently, so I was starting to think it was about time I stopped taking my bike to school. As I was mentally preparing myself for this, we were suddenly hit with wind and fall. Snow lining the streets has made my decision for me. My apartment complex may not be glamorous, but the transit stop within walking distance almost makes up for the poor heating and paper-thin walls this time of year. Last semester I had classes first thing in the morning, making the trolley feel like a sardine. Can we actually say sardine in English? Sardine? And filled to the brim with people commuting to work. Thankfully, my schedule starts a bit after the morning rush this time, so most of the busybodies should have come and gone by now. As the trolley slows to a stop, something catches my eye, or rather someone waving frantically, standing up before it's safe to do so to make sure I see her.
Ollie!
Racist shouts attract some attention, but everyone quickly returns to their phones or their morning naps. My heart pounds on my chest, the attention immediately sparking a feeling of self-consciousness. Hi, bro! Good evening! Still it's unmatched when compared to seeing her excitedly pat the seat next to her, preemptively scooting over. I make my way over to her as she continues her morning greetings.
Hey! You're riding the trolley too? I haven't seen you here before.
Hey!
I just started today.
You have a new outfit.
Oh, we're gonna be riding buddies then.
I take my seat next to her. The dreary cold landscape fades away as the trolley picks up speed again.
Should I expect more pop quizzes?
I love the art in this game so much. I have to say though, out of all of the art, these ones are my favorite because the way their faces and hair is drawn is so soft. I do not know how to further explain it. I'm sorry. A caprice, but it's just comforting. I don't know.
I'll think about it.
Look at her
Wanna hate the commute?
I'm leaning towards enjoying it instead, but I'll keep my options open.
Here says yes.
I take it you and Millie
definitely.
don't carpool anymore? Or...
Yeah.
That bad, huh? Sorry.
At least we can carpool together now.
For sure. Very fluffy hair.
I don't think this counts.
It definitely does. Hey, do you want to see something I made recently?
I have a laugh as Caprice animatedly interrupts me, then waves her phone around like she's showing off already.
Yeah, sure.
Hmm?
She stares me down.
Yes?
Closer?
Can I please see?
Well, if you insist.
I can't help laughing. Any lingering cold from the weather now warmed by the atmosphere from our shared space. Caprice gets closer and looking at her phone and scrolling through a gallery for a minute before landing on what looks like a movie poster. Colors are bright and bold, more than making up for the poor camera quality. While I can't make out the text, the overall effect is striking.
Wow. You really made that?
A grin is proud, but a little sheepish.
There was this contest at the aquarium. My mom told me about it. I didn't win, but I came pretty close.
Can't imagine who won. This would have been my top pick for sure.
I might be biased though.
Aw, come on, I'm not that good.
I mean it. Even if I'm the bottom rung of the art club, you don't need to be a chef to know good food or whatever.
Like at the beginning of the year, seeing her so enthusiastic about art that mostly amounted to posters and text didn't make sense to me. Now, when I think about everything that goes into graphic design choices, it makes perfect sense. Reese has always focused on making sure what she felt was seen and heard, and her designs leave little room for guessing. Reese pulls her phone away, idly swiping at the screen. A bit of color rises to her face.
Thanks.
Seems like you could make a decent living doing design and stuff if you wanted to.
She starts scrolling through other photos idly as she processes my response, her eyes shifting back and forth a couple times before she answers.
Maybe when I'm a little better, I could use it for some income. But it's just a hobby. I love drawing and designing, but I don't know if I want to make it my job, you know?
Oh, that's valid. Very valid.
You're that dead set on marine biology, huh?
She turns off her phone now, looking out into the distance with brighter eyes.
It's been my dream for a long time. I basically grew up at the aquarium. I really want to work with otters and sea lions and everything in between.
After catching my eyes for a second, her smile softens and she continues, looking away from me again in the process.
Like I told you, in some ways, they helped raise me. I'd like to return the favor somehow, I guess.
The trolley isn't exactly warm and everyone here is wearing at least a little blush on their face. Even still, it's easy to spot Caprice's intensifying just a bit.
Sorry, I know that sounds weird.
Nah, it makes perfect sense to me. If it were up to me, I'd never leave the diner. It's nice work and I practically grew up in those booths.
I love the illusion of this actually being a moving trolley car. Despite the sprites not moving at all.
But what are you studying for then?
I don't have a major if that's what you're asking. I'm just stumbling around to find something to support my mom, really. She deserves some rest more than anyone. Before this mess of a semester, I was dabbling in business, but...
Blech.
Yeah.
Caprice doesn't say anything yet, again taking more time to mull it over. A small smile lingers on as she nods, looking up to the sky. She really has a path figured out. Maybe she's so passionate about everything she does because she knows what her passions are. We sit in silence like this as the city passes by outside the window. I don't mind it. Before I might have just been happy for some peace from Caprice's energy. This is different.
Has it always been just you two?
She's pulled me out of my trance, not with one of her typical shouts, but with a simple, quiet question.
Mostly, yeah.
I closed my eyes a bit thinking it over. Even when she was married to my dad, it really was just us.
What does she think about it?
About us roughing it out?
No, I mean, what does she think about your goal?
My goal? I've never really thought about my future prospects in such optimistic terms. Calling what I'm doing now a dream or a path towards some definite endpoint doesn't feel right.
Not sure. Mostly because I don't know what exactly it even is myself.
Oh, well, you still have time to think about that, right?
She doesn't press any more than that. I rack my brain searching for a better response.
Want to hear a story?
Please.
She smirks. The change in subject comes as nothing short of a total relief, but a little too close to having an identity crisis there.
So the other day, in my science class, the professor comes in and hands out a quiz, right?
Right.
And it's covered in subjects we didn't talk about at all. I read ahead in the book a little, so I recognize it, but there's no way anyone else did that. No one's saying anything, though.
Huh. Maybe they didn't consider it worth the hassle. That's how I'd think.
But then they'd all just fail. If you don't correct mistakes, they just cause more problems.
Maybe nobody studied and were afraid of being caught.
Well, I studied, and I know Allison did. I turned to her, and she had this confused look, too. Obviously, something is wrong here. Someone had to say something.
So you did?
And here enters the hero of our story.
Exactly.
So, you stood up in the middle of a quiz?
Do you know how long it took for me to convince the professor I really had something serious to say?
I can't imagine.
Out of curiosity, how often are you shouting out in class?
Not that often. Not during quizzes. What kind of person do you think I am?
I do share one class with you.
You're making fun of me.
A little. She laughs as she lightly smacks my shoulder.
All I'm saying is the professor knew you pretty well.
Yeah, well, we students have to speak up for ourselves. College is a dialogue.
Where'd you hear that one?
You think I can't come up with it myself? So anyway, listen. I stand up, megaphone in hand.
Megaphone?
He wasn't listening, and I had it under my desk for a rally later. Anyway, let me finish the story. I turn it on.
She had a Hello? You just have that? Casually? Every story she has to shed tangents into another with no natural end. My initial impression of her was right on the money. She definitely doesn't have any sort of filter. She starts sneaking more smiles and chuckles out of me. I begin to think that's maybe not a bad thing. She is prepared for everything, it seems. So focused on Caprice chatting away, I don't even realize when we finally stopped at our destination until the driver makes a last call home.
We better get off. Come on.
She hops out of his seat and dashes out before I even have time to think. I grab my bag and follow her as quickly as I'm able. When I step up in front of the campus gates, a slight wind catches me off guard and I can't help but shiver through my heavy coat. Reese barely seems to notice.
Will you be riding this way from now on?
At least until the weather warms up.
Ooh, we really will be riding buddies then. I'll be looking forward to it.
The smile really is bright this morning and I can't help but feel just a little bit warmer looking at it.
Sure. Me too.
Nice. A few days later. Where are we? The cold today is manageable, mostly ignorable with my coat. Good thing too, since I woke up to a text this morning suggesting we go to the zoo as a club outing. Unlike most other times something like this gets proposed, there was little resistance to the idea, even if Eileen and Wallace's faces may imply otherwise. That's because, oddly enough, it was Allison who brought the idea forward. Caprice was eager to accept and, well, I find myself not really minding anymore.
Whoa, it's practically deserted.
Oh yeah, okay, going to the zoo in weather that is... There's a capybara! Capybara! Makes sense. Go when no one else wants to go because the weather is not the best. Very true.
Couldn't imagine why.
Caprice holds a pamphlet in her hands with at least a dozen more tucked under her arm. Her head visibly rotates as she reads, committing every word of them to heart.
This is my favorite time of year to visit.
Yeah, you fit right in with the penguins. So thank you. I will be saving. We will be saving. Save.
A lot of the animals are holed up avoiding the cold, though.
Meh.
It's a sentimental thing.
Ah.
It's rare to see Eileen put on the back foot like that, especially after only one sentence.
Okay, I finished making our plans for the day. We're starting with the polar bears.
You won't even be able to see them. They'll blend right in with the snow.
All I'm hearing is, wow, Caprice, what an excellent opportunity to learn all about color contrast.
He seems to know when he's beat as he slumps his shoulders.
I'll get all of us some bottled water and catch up with you in a bit. I'm going to need a second set of hands to carry them, though.
I've got it.
Actually, I was sort of hoping I could get Olive's help here.
Oh, but...
Surprisingly, Caprice is the first to try and argue. Eileen, on the other hand, seems content to just leave it there, which is just as shocking.
I wanted to chat with them a bit. About some club stuff.
Oh, yeah, okay, but don't keep us waiting for too long.
Sure thing. See you soon.
With my assurance being enough to convince her, Caprice herds a flock of barely cooperating sheep off towards the polar bear exhibit with a wave. Once they're on their way, Allison starts approaching a little refreshment stand, looking behind her and waving at me just to make sure I follow.
So, what's up?
What are we gonna talk about?
I've been thinking about your final.
Oh!
Oh yeah? I'm all ears if you've come up with anything.
She pauses the conversation for a moment to place her order, handing over a few bills as the person in the booth starts piling bottles on the counter.
I don't know if you remember, but a while back you were telling me how you could only really focus on one thing at a time without getting overwhelmed.
You get me. Yeah, she doesn't want to go to the polar bear. With the 5 bottles in her possession, she gives a quick glance behind us to make sure there's no one else in line, then begins spinning all the bottles around so the labels are visible. There's a total of 4 animals across the 5 labels, a pair of sea lions standing out from the pack.
I think maybe you should lean into that, and make your final project based on what feels overwhelming to you. It's bound to be filled with emotion and stuff by default then, right?
That makes sense, I guess. But it's hard to really articulate something like that. It wouldn't really be overwhelming if it was easy to organize and file away.
She starts preparing and grouping up the bottles, picking out different animals for each of our fellow clubmates, despite the fact that all of these will likely be in some recycling bin by the end of the day.
Maybe you just need to anchor those feelings to a place or person?
This again. Before I've time to interject, she's already began continuing her thought.
Like, there's probably better times of the year to visit the zoo. But I've been looking forward to coming during the snowy season all year. Eileen took me here around this time last year on our first date. So, I always associate a snowy zoo with that memory now.
Aw, that's cute.
So, if I want to enjoy the zoo, I come during a warmer part of the year. But if I want to think about that time, I come during the winter. Like I said, it's hard for me to retain things unless it's for school or whatever. But the zoo keeps me grounded to a lot of things that are important to me.
Any second now?
You just need to find someone or something important to you, and figure out how they've been able to help you through this.
Taking 3 bottles in her hand, she passes the remaining 2 to me. The twin sea lions, just in case she was being too subtle before.
I'll think about it some more. Thanks.
It's what I'm here for.
With our conversation over now, stash of water we start making our way to the polar bears as quick as we can without breaking into a run, neither of us wanting to keep Caprice waiting too long. One week later.
Cross-hatching, right?
Yep. Now what's a fugitive color?
A color that changes over time when exposed to various elements.
Right again! Okay, so how about...
Caprice continues to flip through the textbook as we walk the halls to the art room, stopping on random pages without much concern for rhyme or reason. With each pause comes a question, and as soon as I answer one, another's already ready to take its place. Today was a quiz day. I didn't do as well as I'd hoped I would. In fact, it must have been pretty obvious with how quick Caprice was to console me after class before getting right into a prompt study session.
And what creature has the thickest fur of all known mammals?
I refuse to believe you're still pulling questions from that book.
Just seeing if you were paying attention. Okay, now.
The last thing I normally want to do after underperforming in a test would be to jump immediately back into this, but something about Caprice's energy makes it bearable. If it weren't for the stress surrounding the situation, you could maybe even call it sort of fun. It takes a special sort of someone to successfully distract from a test by bombarding you with study prep, but Caprice manages to find a way. Nevertheless, one of her questions manages to drag me back to reality.
Who has brown hair, blue eyes, and desperately looks like she needs a nap?
It takes a couple seconds for me to realize Caprice has stopped walking alongside me. After a quick swivel, I found my tutor smiling wide at her orange-clad friend, leaning casually against a wall, all but lost in a crowd of students. Wait, really? It is her birthday? Oh my god, hold on. Really? It is! Oh no, I didn't. Oh! I'm gonna retweet that. Yay! Ah, it's a birthday. Nice. I mean, I knew that. That's why we started her route today.
Haley. Got it in one.
She finishes her greeting with a small yawn in a half-hearted way.
You look how I feel.
I try to smile as I retrace my last couple of steps to join the two again. It's coming a lot less naturally to me than it was a few minutes ago.
Could have fooled me with how you two were practically skipping through the hall together. Classes have been running me ragged.
Ollie passed the test today.
My grin is so sincere and tone is so earnest that it almost makes me forget about the actual score.
Oh, is that so? Congrats, Ollie.
Ah, there's the despair kicking in. I feel my face grow more red the wider highly smirk gets.
Barely passing. It was just a 7 out of 10.
I was 7 out of 10 barely passing. What? 7 out of 10 is 70%.
Sounds like a pass to me.
That's what I was telling them. As a matter of fact, I've been throwing questions at Olive ever since we got out of class, and they haven't missed a beat this entire time.
Caprice grabs my shoulder with her free hand, shaking me with a proud smile across her face. Oh, nothing more than to disappear while I wait another one-liner from Haley, but it never comes.
Glad to hear things have been going well for you, even if you don't think they have. Almost there.
I haven't become numb to Caprice's grace and optimism. If anything, time spent with her has only shown me how sincere all of it is. Even still, hearing her thoughts echoed by someone else strengthens the warmth in my chest.
Thanks.
I feel Caprice's grasp on my shoulder tighten for just a moment before she releases me.
You gonna survive the rest of the day, Haley?
If we weren't so close to going home, I don't know if I'd be able to answer that.
Don't fall asleep on me just yet. We've still got a meeting to get through.
Second surprise guess of the afternoon elicits a grimace out of Haley as she strolls up, though I'm not entirely positive it's because of the friendly ribbing. Caprice, in contrast, stiffens her back, her smile dampening just a touch.
Millie, hey.
Oh, thank you for the hydrogen of hat. Some classes, you have to get a 70 or better to pass in a super common. I failed public speaking one year because I had 69. I realized once again that I do not understand the grading system in America whatsoever. What is the like? Sorry. In my mind, it would work in a. Oh well, 100 out of 100 is obviously an A. You pass, great, perfect. But getting half, like how many ways do you have to get grade? Like it goes from A, B, C, D. Is there an E? Because like here we go from 1, which is the best, to 6, which is the worst. So if you get a 3, that would be the middle, right? And to me, the middle is you have around half the answers right. So that's still passing. Like, oh, you got half the answers right. 7 out of 10 points to me would be like either a low 2 or a high 3. Like that's more than half. A, B, C, D, F. Why do you not have an E? Why do you go A, B, C, D, F? How does that make sense? Half points would be a 4-. Really? Okay, but even then, a 4- is still a pass. Like, you only have to start worrying like when you get a 5. Because if you get too many of those, it's like, oh, okay. And a 6. 16 above is passing. That is... It's something 70 just cost. Interesting. Well, I can't speak for college. Since I've never gone to college and I don't plan on ever going. Because I'm glad I'm out of school and any of that environment, but... Okay, interesting.
Good afternoon, you two. Managing to keep your head above water, Olive?
I already hate being singled out as it is, let alone when I'm transparently being used to deflect attention away from Caprice.
Just barely.
That's such a relief to hear. I've been worried for you.
No way. That's weird.
There's nothing to worry about. I'm gonna pull Ollie across the finish line if it's the last thing I do.
I'm sure you will.
Something about how Millie says that feels like a jab, even if the words themselves are completely tame. The mood in the hall shifts. Red rises to Caprice's cheeks as her hands start to curl into fists.
How am I supposed to take that, exactly?
What do you mean?
Well, you just said. You meant something by that, obviously.
I think you're reading into things a little too much.
Oh, really? Ollie, what do you think?
Oh no. I thought my days of being put in the middle of this were behind me. The cold sweat at the back of my neck starting to irritate. I adjust my collar as Millie turns to me directly.
It felt a little passive-aggressive.
Alright, I can see that.
She turns to She turns to Caprice, closing her eyes tightly before looking at her evenly. I dare to sign relief when the pressure's off me, and a Millie's mature response.
I'll be direct then. You drag people around whether they like it or not. At least it's good for something.
Jesus.
That said, Olive, if she's ever being too much, you need to tell her directly. Several times.
Are you really still mad about that? Well, sorry for committing the crime of double-checking if you didn't want to go to the dress fitting. Guess I'm just the worst.
You asked me 15 times.
Okay, yeah, that's a little more than just double-checking. Since we already know Millie's side of this now, I 15 times? I would also get fed up with someone if I said no to a thing and they would ask another 14 times, but I'm sure. I'm sorry, Caprice, I cannot defend you on that one.
'Cause we kept rescheduling for you! Still. Okay, I don't know how Millie said no. If she said, oh, she can't on that date and they rescheduled 15 times, oh my god. Still though, if someone says no, you should just maybe accept that no. And not, oh, maybe like this, oh, maybe like that. No. No.
And you won't take a hint.
I feel a hole in my stomach as they glare at each other, their icy back and forth quickly becoming a full-on argument. I keep finding myself thinking it can help some way or another by speaking up, but every time it backfires. Haley, having sensed the coming storm, tugs at my arm as she warms away past her friends. It probably, yeah, but even then, and I said this, because this is also how I felt during Millie's storyline, I feel like they should have given her space.
I forgot something in the music room. You free to help carry some stuff?
I glance at Caprice, who doesn't even seem to notice me. I turn back to Haley. After a wordless nod, she lets go of my arm and starts leading me down the hall, never turning back to make sure I'm following behind her.
You scared them away!
It's little wonder they left us, what with you all stanced up like that.
Olive would never!
With the door at the door to the music room closes, after the hustle and bustle of the crowds right outside, the silence feels especially eerie.
It's quiet.
Ironic, right?
You didn't forget anything in here.
Clever. Even if I did, the actual classroom is locked up back there. I wouldn't be getting it till tomorrow anyway.
She gives a small nod towards the locked door to the side. I was wondering why this place felt so sparse.
So, did you want to talk, or...?
Nope, not really. Just thought I'd do you a favor and save you from the worst of it, since I was going to be leaving anyway.
Oh.
I'm still feeling a little shaken after watching those two start it off, but Haley seems totally nonplussed about the issue as she picks a wall to lean on, closing her eyes to focus on her music.
One of them will come around to pick us up for the clubs once they get it out of their system. Make yourself comfortable.
Okay, thanks. Is this a dating sim? It's not the main focus. There is romance in it, but it's not the main focus. What Flo is saying, pretty much, yes. Despite the invitation, I just stand awkwardly in the middle of the room, not quite sure what to do with myself. I debate making my way back to the pair, but leaving Haley here feels inappropriate. Instead, I figure I can at least try to spark up a conversation. Surely can't blow up in my face again so quickly. Besides, if she doesn't want to talk, she just won't respond, or that's what I tell myself to justify this as I open my mouth to speak.
Are they like this at home too?
The shrug is immediate, so at least I'm not being totally disregarded. Even still, it takes a few moments for her to find the words to respond properly.
It comes and goes. It'll build up to a small shouting match, and then they'll be mostly okay with each other the day after.
That doesn't sound healthy.
I know. They know too, probably.
Then why keep going through the cycle?
No, Yuri. The muffled music from her headphones fades as she finds a way to answer my question. It's not long after that she pulls them from her ears entirely, placing them around her neck once again with a small sigh.
Because they don't really have any other choice, their situation being what it is.
Haley's tone is deadpan at the best of times, but it's hard not to notice a tinge of sadness to her now.
You look how I feel.
You're doing good, I'm glad to hear that. It took her making a joke out of it for me to notice my own frown. It's one I've worn several times before, but with the same exact subject. Originally it was because the argument made things messy and complicated when all I wanted was some help. Now though...
Are you going to tell me what it is?
If Caprice hasn't told you, you know I can't. Girl code. You just have to believe me when I say they can't really change what's going on. Even if they could, it'd only make things worse.
From an outside perspective, it just sounds like you've given up on things getting better.
It's not like I haven't tried. I wouldn't be sharing a room with Heather 2 days a week by choice if I didn't think it'd help Millie out.
Haley sneers as Heather's name leaves her lips, adding emphasis to an already crystal clear point. My head hurts a bit from all the secrecy, but one thing is pretty clear. They're still living together, they're still trying, so...
If they're both willing to try to reconcile most days, they'll be able to figure it out eventually, right? Vague and cryptic situations or not.
It's only after getting a look at the faint hint of surprise on Haley's face that I pause and stop myself, not realizing how far I pushed myself out of my comfort zone until I was already well outside its boundary.
That almost sounded optimistic. Where do you pick that habit up?
Your roommate. I know the answer to that question, but I can't find myself to say her name aloud. All I can do is avert my eyes and scratch at my cheek. Haley seems to take it as sufficient response as a cat-like grin spreads on her face. I'm not sure if that makes things better or worse. No! The cat-like grins! The cat-like grins are spreading to other games. No!
Don't know.
Well, it suits you.
Thank you for putting your mind. Worse. Definitely worse. Someone's a con in here. Before we can stew in this awkwardness for too long, the door opens behind us. In its frame stands Caprice, looking like a deer caught in the headlights as Haley and I turn to her.
You two are still here. Good. Olive, you ready to head over to the club?
There's still energy in her voice as she gets the words out. I find myself wishing she called me Ollie.
Sure. Is
You think
everything
it's embarrassing,
okay?
but now you wish she would call her that. Call you that? Jesus Christ.
Huh? Oh, yeah. We worked it all out. Just a bad misunderstanding in the end. No need to worry about us. We gotta focus on you.
As soon as she's called out, she's quick to throw her mask back on, her tone springing back to life and the smile spreading across her face. She's given me this expression so many times before, and it always feels sincere, but not this time. I join her by the door, turning to look at Haley once I'm at Caprice's side.
You gonna be good?
Yeah, I'll start heading over to the writing room in a sec. You two go on ahead.
Okay. Have a fantastic cast. Okay, I can't read that. Fantastic night. Bye, room. Thank you for coming by.
Okay. Have fun over there. Tell Millie I said hi.
You said hi to her not even 20 minutes ago.
Do it anyway.
Yeah, well, I think she appreciates it more when it comes from you.
Her smile doesn't waver, but her tone definitely does. One look at Haley's face tells me we're on the same page.
Alright. See you.
And with that, Caprice ushers me out the door and closes it behind us, leaving Haley alone in the room. I hope this room gets at least one more use, because an entire background drawn and then it's only used for one scene? I hope not. Caprice is written on the whiteboard. The big final project!
Listen, this is make or break. Your big moment.
The energy she's putting on display now, it's hard not to see it as at least partially forced given the circumstances. I'm not read today. Maybe I'm just overthinking it though, since the others haven't seemed to notice, or if they haven't said anything about it. The rest of the club is gathered around for the discussion. I have the same feeling I get from mock meetings in my intro to business classes.
We're going to make sure Olive makes the best piece they can make and ace the class!
That's one way to put pressure on me.
I don't think we should make the big moment just about me.
In truth, I'm not even sure if it's necessary at this point. I've done everything I can to have had my grade before the final to varying degrees of success. All that's really left is to put pen to paper. Seeing Caprice so enthusiastic about this is enough reason for me to let this play out though. Even if she's forcing it a little, seeing her back in element comes as a relief.
Every moment is a big moment. Next question.
Oh boy. Allison raises her hand, a strange concept in this club.
Well, I was thinking. I'm not sure what you've covered in art class, but since Olive has been mostly learning with pencil, I think doing something with graphite or charcoal would be best.
Makes sense. Can get messy real quick though. Charcoal is always...
Ooh, Allie's already taking initiative with ideas. I like to hear it.
She writes pencil in a bullet point on the board, grinning as she underlines it a few times.
Sticking with what you know is probably your best bet, yeah. That still leaves the matter of what you're actually going to be drawing.
We'll figure it out together.
I can help bounce some ideas around, sure.
So let's discuss this. Olive, what is it you want to do?
I don't actually know.
If not for a while, at least the broad strokes. It's not something I really wanted to talk about though.
You've had all semester to think of something.
The regret I'm feeling over not trying to de-escalate this meeting at the start continues to grow by the second.
I'm aware.
It's okay. Why don't you take some time to think about it? We don't have to decide on anything today.
Every size is a flourish, then adds a second bullet point, subject to be...
Fine. But let's discuss the other topic. Historical influences.
Okay. I'm glad we're off that line of questioning, even if this new one fills me with a different kind of dread.
I barely know anything about that stuff. You saw how I did all my quiz.
You had 7 out of 10.
You're back on that again? You did fine. You passed. That means you know something.
You little perfectionist, you. Expert planning, subject to be dated.
How did you do on your quiz?
70%.
Which is a C. Better than passing depressing.
There's some things you just can't force optimism about.
Okay. Wallace, take out your laptop.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am!
Don't call me that.
When unable to come up with a retort quick enough with just content to leave the conversation there, Wallace quietly nods and begins to do as he was asked. Hi, Zen! Good evening! Hi!
How are you? How far did you get in Persona?
We're going to cram as much of this stuff into your skull as we can today. Apply it to your project later.
Oh. Despite her choice of words, her actual tone is more like a high school teacher's. I'm honestly not sure how much of the stuff we talked about today will help with my final, though I did pick up bits and pieces that I'd like to look into. More than anything, the company is what I appreciated the most. It's been a long semester, but these 4 have made it go by a lot faster. I still feel like an outsider a lot of the time, and the personalities definitely seem to clash in a lot of ways, but I can't say it hasn't been fun. This will be the last meeting before I turn in my final, and I feel like I've let them down if I don't follow through after the help they've given me. You just sent to the battle music fun. Fair. Is this your first time playing Reload? Well, yeah, it would be your first time playing Reload, but like, is it your first time playing P3? Only one path forward now. After what feels like a long hour of circular discussion, people start packing their things and saying their goodbyes for the day, leaving Caprice and I alone together. As is the norm, she only begins packing her things away once the rest of the club is out of the door, but this time she stops herself after shoving a few stray pieces of paper away. Yeah, listen, I realized at the same second that I said it. Of course it would be. Reload just came out. Hello. You played FES. Meow. New battle track kind of bop. I've not played P3. I have several tries on P3 Portable, but only very recently, so one day.
Ollie?
Yes.
What's up?
Are you working tonight by any chance?
I thought I couldn't feel any more nervous than I am about my final, but Caprice once again makes the impossible possible.
No, I have the night free. Why?
Emotional pain and mental pain.
The building's open all evening for night classes, so we can leave whenever. Do you want to study or go over your final a bit more, maybe?
I find myself at a crossroads. Honestly speaking, after the last few hours, I don't know if I'm mentally capable of enduring any more academics for the day. On the other hand, well, I can think of worse ways to spend my evening. I'm not sure if there's an obvious tell on my face or if my pause lasted just a moment too long, but when I turn my focus back to Caprice, she looks unusually panicked.
Never mind. I know you're busy and it's been a long day. Of course you don't want to be quizzed anymore today. You should go home and...
Okay, it was just a pause. Good. Great.
No, I was just thinking about how nervous I was about things still, and how some extra studying would be good. I'll take up your offer, assuming it's still open.
It's open.
Needing no further affirmation, she joins me in sitting at the edge of the table. She reaches behind her to grab my textbook, poring over its contents.
I appreciate you doing this.
Her eyes, once wide as they could be, as she furiously skimmed through the pages, closed slightly.
I haven't been doing enough. I'm just trying to make up for lost time is all.
Aww. You love Persona 3, true. Especially love playing this answer. Sarcasm. I know the basic story of Persona 3. I don't know all of the differences between all the versions and all of the stuff that was added with the answer and also the other thing. No. I'm so sorry. So, please, careful with spoilers, even if you're just making a haha joke. I'm begging. I know the game is 20 years old, but I would like to not like get spoiled on it. Hi Mel. I remember her apologizing for this before. Is it still bugging her that much? Maybe she's picked up some bad habits from me. All I can do is sigh.
You've helped a lot.
I promised you more than a lot.
She reaches across me and grabs a piece of paper and a pencil, jotting down questions as she continues to protest my assurances.
I'm sorry for being so negative about the class all the time. I know I've been doing fine. It's just easier to see the glass is half empty, I guess.
I know. That's why I'm so confident in you, and why I feel so bad.
I wanted to elaborate so badly, but for whatever reason I just can't bring myself to ask her outright. Thankfully, she seems to get the picture. She pulls her eyes up away from the text to face me.
You shouldn't have to feel so stressed out about this. I just feel like if I did more... I don't know, if I didn't push you on to the rest of the club as often as I did, you wouldn't be so worried. Maybe you'd have done better on the quiz, and maybe not. But I wanted you to feel prepared going into this with me, and I didn't follow through.
That's not...
But the fact that you feel like your back is against the corner, that you feel hopeless, as awful as that is, the fact that you're still doing everything you can to rise above it is amazing.
That's nice. Can't believe they added Sans Undertale from Undertale to P3. They're Why, sorry, who are we referring to? Why is Sans in the P3 now, huh? Why do you have this on hand? Why wouldn't I? We ever played Persona game? Go part non-existing, your teammates can't be controlled. I mean, yeah, I heard about the AI issues. But my first Persona game, well, the funny thing. So okay, hold on. Sorry, a short Persona off-topic tangent. I did try playing Persona 3 portable many years ago on the PSP. I honestly didn't get very far because I went to Tartarus when you are given the option, right? And little tiny me always plays games with walkthroughs. And at the time I played that game, it was already out for many years, so there was many walkthroughs where people were like, oh hey, do this and that on that day, and then you can make it through the game, getting most, if not all, of the content, like in an easy way. Which meant, oh, little me was in Tartarus, just standing around, trying to look something up online, and then Mr. Reaper came with his funny little change and was like, hey, you're not moving? You've been in here for quite a long time. And then I never started P3P again. And then some years later, I tried playing Persona 4 Golden on the PS Vita, and I did get a little further, but then my whole Vita game saves memory card situation happened, and I never finished that game. And then the first Persona game I actually finished several times is P5. So I've just been slowly going backwards. So going from what good in terms of quality of life improvements P5 had already done, also P5 Royal, back to earlier entries. I honestly don't want to have to experience dumb AI or the whole, oh, you cannot actually directly control your teammates ever. Like, obviously I want to know the story. I also want to know the differences in the stories in P3 depending on who you play as, which version you play in. But also, I am not willing to sit through that kind of gameplay. Like, which is the same for 1 and 2. I do want to one day actually get to know the full stories of Persona 1 and 2. But also, when it comes to the gameplay. But yeah, the Reaper was like, hello there! And then I never started the game up again. I do love I have a very deep love for the female MC though. Which is why I'm extra sad with Reload. as I've said many times before, which will probably not change anytime soon because they're not gonna give us the female MC ever again. That's just, I've learned to live with that fact. Oh yes, they can leak that they're remaking and or they're making the answer as a DLC. I mean, we all saw that one coming. That's more money, and why wouldn't they? But they're not gonna remake a remake even more to put the girl in there. So it is what it is. Pray. Get honest, yeah. Which is sad because they managed to put her in all of the like not promotional art, that's the wrong word, but they managed to put her in art whenever they have like, oh, hey, we're doing a little crossover, a pop-up cafe, or hey, we're doing a crossover with, I don't know, like some kind of other brand. Like if maybe there is a Sanrio and Persona collab, I don't know. They managed to put her in those things more often than not. So we have some more like HD artwork. The one cafe they had pretty recently, which is pretty boring art if I might say so, but she exists, right? She gets artwork in those cases. Whereas Persona 1 and 2 are like non-existent completely, so maybe I'm just barking up the wrong tree here. There's games that have it even worse, but yeah, her entire existence is just like, except for yeah, the one spin-off. My god, what was it called? The Persona Etrian Odyssey spin-off, the second one. She exists in that one, but even then, Q, thank you. Q2, she does exist in that one. And I own that game. I haven't finished it though. Anyway, enough about Persona for now.
When it feels like there's nowhere for you to go, it's so
Focus on
easy to
art.
feel like giving up and letting whatever happens happen. I can speak from experience there, a lot more than usual lately, actually.
She lightly taps the pencil on her desk as her eyes drift downwards for a moment before darting back up.
But you never let that happen. Heck, you've technically got more time logged in the club this semester than I do. That's sort of embarrassing. You're more reliable than I am.
She chuckles a bit as she brushes some hair out of her eyes. This feels like the best time to respond, but I'm left totally speechless. Still, I'm desperate to not leave an awkward pause hanging in the air, so I grab at the first thought that comes to mind.
It was only ever like that because I didn't want to let people down. Mom, you... I don't think I'd have the willpower to go on if it was just personal motivation.
That's okay. There's no shame in relying on the people who love you, even if it's just as motivation in the back of your mind. The point is that you got here in the end.
She smiles her usual smile and I'm quick to return it. Suddenly, however, Capri shifts her eyes back to the book and the paper she'd been scribbling on, her body visibly tensing up.
I meant loved ones. Like, you know, your mom and stuff.
As cold as the weather has been getting lately, it pales in comparison to the feel of the shiver going down my spine.
Yeah, don't worry. I got what you meant.
Anyway, question 1.
Question 1. She's so cute. Purple clouds shade the sky, outlined by the low-flying sun. I stand waiting for the trolley, grocery bags in hand, ready to head home for a dinner with Mom. I've got to work on my final tomorrow, but this is a rare night where both Mom and I are free and we want to make the most of it. My ride eventually rolls into view, as do a couple of familiar faces.
Ah, Ollie!
Hey, there's my writing buddy. It's unusual to run into her at this hour, though. Miss Shifton is sitting next to her, giving a small wave in sharp contrast to her daughter's wild, sweeping gestures. As I approach them, Caprice pats a seat next to her with a flailing arm.
Sit down, sit down!
Hey!
Yeah.
Hello, Olive. Or is it Ollie now?
Good evening, ma'am. Olive is fine.
Okay, Olive. But please, call me Charlie.
Alright.
She comes across as kind and sincere, but I don't think I'll ever really be comfortable being on a first name basis with her. A feeling I'm sure is coming through with how instinctively I avoid her gaze.
Don't bully them.
My mom is someone who also insists that any of my friends call her just by her first name and not something like Miss blah blah blah. I get the pain now, I guess. You want to like be someone your child's friends like feel comfortable around and talk to, but like it's not that easy, I guess. You would die, really? No, I have to think. If I call any of my friends' parents by the first name. There's one I definitely call by her first name, and everyone else I don't think I ever like actively call by any name. Oh god. Oh fuck. Well, that's one way to get around that. Is this bullying? I can feel myself sinking into my seat. Charlie laughs.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make you uncomfortable. Caprice talks about you all the time. I already feel like I know so much about you.
She does. It's the second time that she's mentioned something like that, considering we've only met twice.
No worries. It's nice to see you again.
Just I just look on a first name basis.
Likewise.
I turn to Caprice to answer the question that's becoming more and more invasive every millisecond that passes by.
You talk about me? Or?
Of course. I tell Mom everything.
Everything?
I know all about the art club's adventures. She has a new story for me every few days.
She puts a point on the sentence with a gentle smile that reminds me of my own mom's. It's just a thing they're all able to do.
She's told me about your situation. I'm rooting for you too.
Oh, thanks.
These two must share everything with each other. I guess I shouldn't be surprised. Caprice is the type to talk anyone's head off, and she must have gotten that from somewhere. I'm really close with my own mom, but the relationship these two have feels entirely different.
There's no way they're going to fail after how much the club has helped.
There was a time I would have protested this, but I know how much she means it. That, and I actually find myself agreeing.
Yeah, I really would have been lost without you guys.
Oh, well, you know, you couldn't have done it without yourself either.
The words stumble out of Caprice in a rare moment of bashfulness. Wanting out of this conversation as quickly as possible, she turns back to her mom instead.
Molly isn't giving themselves enough credit. We wouldn't have made it this far if they weren't willing and determined.
Makes sense.
So I've heard. Several times.
What did I just say about bullying them?
Charlie looks to me, raising a hand in a half-hearted way.
I'm sorry, Olive. You weren't the intended target there.
Excuse me?
I'm going to die.
I'm glad to hear things are working out. All I hear from Caprice these days is all of this, all of that. How's their progress going? Whether they'll pass their final. You and I are lucky to have her, huh?
Jeez, Mom.
Caprice quickly averts her eyes from her mom and onto me, only to dart them away again when she realizes I'm looking at her, the only option left to her being to stare upwardly at the other side of the car.
You sure are, though. Especially you, Ollie.
Having collected herself, she points at me, finger once again so needlessly close to my face. I can't bring myself to even pretend to be annoyed.
So where are you headed, Olive?
Home, if I can help it.
Us too. We were shopping.
They have some bags around them too, and also takeout boxes probably full of leftovers from some restaurant.
So was I. Needed to pick up some things for dinner. My mom's over at my apartment.
Oh, how nice. Pass on a greeting from me, won't you?
Sure.
And from me.
Got it.
We spent the rest of the ride chatting. I almost missed my stop.
See you soon. Don't forget to do your best on your final. Don't hesitate to ask me for help.
Bye, Olive. Take care.
I will. Have a nice rest of your night, you two.
As soon as I open the door to my apartment, I'm assaulted by sounds of bubbling water and savory spices.
Hey, I thought I said not to start cooking without me.
You cooked for me last time. I'm cooking this time. Plus, it had to get started soon. This isn't a quick meal.
What are we making?
Well, you're gonna need these.
I hold on the back full of veggies and potatoes.
Good! It's almost time to start throwing them into the pot. Help with the peeling, won't you?
I threw myself on my heavy jacket as quick as I'm able before taking my place beside her at the cutting board, placing the bag of veggies between us.
So, how's your project coming along?
She's quick to pull a couple of carrots from the bag to begin her work. I grab as many potatoes as I can for myself, if for no other reason than to try and minimize the amount she has to deal with.
I haven't actually started yet.
Meow!
But I'm picking up the supplies tomorrow.
Oh, that's good.
That's good. Do you know what you're gonna do for it yet?
After a lot of talk with Caprice and the club,
I look over at my planned roommates sitting on their windowsills as always.
I've got something in mind. Maybe.
Oh.
I'm really glad to hear that. Just a few months ago, you were so unsure about all this.
I'm still unsure. Just a little less than normal now.
Well, I'm sure you've got nothing to worry about. It sounds like your friends are doing everything they can for you.
They are.
Yeah, I've heard that enough times from Caprice already.
And you're finally starting to believe it, right?
Maybe a little.
She nods as she drops her chopped carrots into the pot before reaching back into the bag.
Speaking of which, I saw her on the trolley with her mom. They say hello.
Ah, I'd love to meet her again someday. Her mom, too.
It'd be nice to make that happen. We could invite them over sometime after the semester.
It takes me a moment to realize she stopped her chopping as I finish up dicing the potatoes. I look to her, worried she may have cut herself or something, but all I find on her face is a smile.
What's wrong?
You just said of your own volition that you would like to invite someone over.
Oh, nothing. Nothing. Are the potatoes ready?
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
After moving the knives away, she lifts up the entirety of the cutting board, pushing all of the cut veggies off it into the pot before giving it a good stir. I cannot talk today, Jesus.
I was just thinking about how funny the situation turned out.
I'm struggling to find the humor here.
It's always been so hard to get a smile out of you growing up. As hard as I tried, I treasured each and every one I managed to earn.
I hope she gets to the comedic part of this observation soon. I'm not sure if my heart can sink any lower.
You wear it so naturally now, though. Regardless of what happens with your finals, I really think this past semester may have been one of the best things to ever happen to you.
Aww. She finishes her stirring, turning the heat on the stove down as she places a lid over the pot.
Personally speaking, I think the irony is very silly.
With all of the stress and anxiety surrounding it, I want to refute it so much, but in a few days, one way or another, those worries are going to be gone. Or at the very least, they won't matter anymore. Where will they leave me then?
Maybe I'll appreciate the joke more later.
It'll grow on you, I'm sure.
As casually as ever, she passes by me to get to the sink and turns the hot water on, washing her hands after doing the bulk of the cooking tonight.
So, tell me more about her. Caprice?
There's a lot I haven't really mentioned to her. I just never thought it was important to say. Now I'm not even sure where to begin.
Did I ever tell you her mom works at the aquarium?
Really? What does she do?
She's one of those presenters who talk about the animals.
I told Mom about the aquarium and Caprice's love of sea life, but she's already making plans for another visit. Even when she isn't physically present, Caprice ends up being the center of attention as I recount our time together over the past semester. From there I tell her the other tales of our little art club. She shares more stories from work in her own life. It's a warm winter evening. Aww. I see. So Caprice's route, we also spent more time with our mom. That's nice. Last night I went to sleep at around 3 AM, clinging to the hope that if I never actually slept, then tomorrow somehow wouldn't arrive. Time's betrayed me once again. Tomorrow is not today, and today is mostly gone. The majority of it was spent at work, the stress being the only thing keeping me from entering a vegetative state my entire shift. Vegetative. After that, I immediately went out and bought everything I needed. I settled on using some high quality colored pencils. Good. I've also picked up a backing board trimmed to the size specified for the assignment and an oddly specific round of glue as per the professor's instructions. All that's left is to sit down and do it, I guess. I take a seat in my desk chair, placing the bag of various art supplies down on the floor as gently as I can, knowing they're the most important thing I own at this moment. I bought some extras of everything just in case, but it doesn't ease my worrying at all. I move my keyboard to the side, leaving ample room for my pencil set and paper. It's ready to go now. Just gotta start. I've had the image in my head for a long time, but now that the time is here, I'm finding it impossible to put it to paper. Even getting the basic sketch down is proving to be too large of a mental hurdle. Is this paralysis stemming from the fear of failing? The fear of letting the people around me down? Maybe just being unsure if I can do it justice? With a deep sigh, I stand up and drag myself to my nightstand where I had left my phone on silent. I deliberately made sure it wasn't in reaching distance to avoid distractions, but maybe a distraction is what I need. She said to let her know if I needed help with it. Does this count? I'm not really sure what she could actually do for me right now, but I'm hoping just talking with someone as I work things out will help. I type Caprice's name in my contacts and make my way back to my desk as it begins ringing.
Ollie, sup?
Hi, please be Otter.
Hey, just working on my final.
Oh, this artwork is so nice.
Oh, me too, actually. We can have a sort of long-distance club meeting.
Yeah, that's more or less what I was hoping for.
So how far in have you gotten?
I haven't started.
The supplies are on my desk.
Ollie, you do have something in mind, right?
The disappointment in her voice is like an arrow through the heart.
Yeah, of course. It's just hard for me to get started for some reason.
Fine.
Fine?
She's quickly pivoted from disappointment to Fox frustration. Even after all this time, I have no idea how she manages it so effortlessly.
I've set my pen down, and I'm not picking it back up till you get moving. If you don't get started, I'm gonna fail.
It's not like I wasn't gonna do it.
My fate is in your hands.
I put her on speaker and placed the phone to the side, both my hands free to start working on my project properly. This is one of those things that you know she'd be more than willing to follow through with. I decided it's a good enough reason to at least get to the sketching stage, as I take out a normal pencil and start mapping out how I want to fill out the paper.
You've successfully twisted my arm.
Good. What kind of medium are you sticking with anyway?
I decided on colored pencils. Like everyone said, I should probably stick with what I know, but I thought colors may help things. Same basic idea, right?
Yeah. So long as it's what works for you.
What about you? I know I've been avoiding this subject, but I don't think you've really been bringing your final up much either.
Oh, I'm trying digital this time. Wallace is letting me borrow one of his older tablets.
Oh, you're trying it? For like the first time? That's wild. Just like her to take a final project for a college class and use it as an excuse to try something entirely new.
Is this the thing you were asking Eileen for thoughts for a while ago? You said back then it was your final.
I know the answer, of course, but I'm curious if she's willing to confirm it.
No. That was something different. Doesn't matter much.
Fair enough. I was just wondering at the time what someone like you could ever need a second opinion on.
You're making fun of me again.
A little.
Maybe a little.
We sit in silence for a while, both of us chipping away at our projects. I've moved past the sketching stage, relatively happy with what I've landed on, and have started sorting through my assortment of pencils, using a piece of scratch paper to compare the colors before committing. The silence persists, small two-sentence conversations peppered about here and there, but neither of us make excuses to end the call. I can hear her tap and swoosh the pen occasionally on her tablet, and I'm sure she can hear me shuffling things about as I try and sort stuff around. Being able to quietly enjoy each other's company like this feels as bizarre as it does pleasant. Sitting here in mostly silence, content with the knowledge that there's someone on the other side of it who is eager to listen in the off chance you do have something to say. I guess nowadays just the idea of Caprice being there is enough of an inspiration, not that I don't appreciate her attempts at feel-good speeches.
Done.
Huh?
I just finished my final project, I think.
What the fuck?
What? Send me a picture! Hurry, hurry, hurry!
You're turning yours in tomorrow too, right?
Yeah, but...
We should show them to each other on campus then. can be more of an event that way, or something.
In truth, I'm still sort of embarrassed to show it off, but I'm hoping a night of sleep will be enough time to calm the nerves enough.
Are you that confident it'll be okay? You sure you don't want my opinion ahead of time?
I'm more surprised that Olive is finishing their entire final project in just a few hours. Not that it's impossible, but like,
Yeah, I think it'll work out.
Okay, tomorrow it is then. I'll wrap this up and take it to the shop for printing before they close so I can catch you on the trolley in the morning.
Don't rush yourself for something like that.
It'll be fine. We're riding buddies, it's important.
Yeah, guess so.
Okay, see you tomorrow then. Thanks for hanging out, Ollie.
These other projects of good quality, but they need to pass this class. They need to pass this class, so this final is probably worth like a big chunk of the grades, so it should be good quality, right? I still got some tests to handle tomorrow, but with this project done, my shoulders feel infinitely lighter. With her word from the start of the semester, she was here to see me through to the end. I hope things turn out okay. Right now, even more than actually passing, I want nothing more than to join her again for another semester. Simply be her friend without all of the baggage I brought with me this year. Thank her and the rest of the club properly for everything they've done. I'm not sure if the last thing is even possible with words alone, let alone here over the phone. Nevertheless, I can at least leave her with something for now.
Thank you too. Good night, Caprice.
Aww. Alright. The next day. Do we get to see it?
Okay, time for the reveal.
Oh,
On 3.
1, 2. We met on a trolley. I had finally worked up the willpower to show her the fruits of my labor. She insisted we wait until we could get to the art room though, playing off my suggestion of making it feel like more of a special thing. The ride to campus was one agonizingly slow and way too quick. The ride to campus was one agonizingly slow and way too quick, both mashing awkwardly together in an impossible to describe mass of anxiety. When we arrived, she then insisted on waiting until everyone else had left to hang up our art so they could be next to each other. Now we're here, counting down the slowest 3 seconds of my life.
3!
She flips her canvas and rests it upright on the table in front of her. I uncover my own, propping it up the same way. Caprice's final is very much her, a storm of different colors and ideas, all fighting for attention as they push in various directions. Okay. One part catches my eye immediately though, a small splash of green that makes my heart jump through my throat. Maybe I'm being optimistic, but it's not subtle, right? On the subject of subtlety, it's not like mine is especially vague either, or at least I don't think it is. Red on Caprice's face, which undoubtedly matches my own, definitely seems to confirm that.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
It's not as good as I wanted it to be.
No, but I can definitely see what you were going for.
Ollie, look at it. You made this.
So? She takes the drawing from my hands and flips it back around for me to examine.
Remember when we started? You didn't think you could handle something even half as good as this.
In many ways, I still don't think I can.
Look at how far you've come. Heck, look at how far we've both come.
She barely taps her creation, clearly a lot less embarrassed by it than I am of mine.
It's not exactly a fair comparison. You're already a great artist at the start.
Well, I'm even better now, and I'll be even better tomorrow.
She adjusts the cap slightly, tipping the brim of the hat up more to meet my eyes directly with a broad smile and sparkling eyes.
And you will too.
She gives me a thumbs up in the most earnest way. I avert eye contact, only to be met by the art on the wall once more.
I don't know. I think I need a break from all this art stuff after this.
I punctuate the statement with a dramatic sigh and slumping of the shoulders. I meant to make it come up as an obvious joke, but one of my reactions all that out of the ordinary.
What? Come on, you don't mean that.
I wonder.
If my intentions weren't obvious before, I can at least be confident they are now, Caprice responding with a chuckle.
We'd better get to class before we're late.
Oh, you're right.
She scrambles to grab her canvas and we make our way to class one last time. With everything behind us, the art club is having its last meeting of the semester at the pizza place we use for special occasions.
And after this begins our winter semester meetings.
I knew it.
Oh,
Hey,
thank you for
I'm
the
not
pasta
taking any
jack.
winter classes.
That sounds like a you problem, Wallace.
I don't think anyone is, right?
It doesn't matter. Classes or not, the club never sleeps. Today is a celebration day, though. We made it
I
through.
want pizza. Right, made it through. I checked my phone. It must be the 12th time today.
Ollie!
Okay, just loading.
Ollie, stop looking at your phone!
I'm just trying to see my grades.
My other classes I'm reasonably confident in, but the art final is my last big stressor. The professor said the grades would be posted relatively quickly. I'm not sure if expecting a turnaround in under a day is reasonable, but it doesn't stop me from checking every few seconds anyway.
I know, but it's not there yet. No point in stressing out about it.
Stressing out? No kidding. I've been stressing out about this moment for the past few months. It's pretty much all I've been stressing out about.
I've been trying to check my grades too.
Allison, like me, has been thumping at her phone all meeting. Somehow I think she has less to worry about than I do.
They probably won't go up until the evening, and that's assuming it'll even be today.
Do you know what time?
That depends on the professor.
How about you wait until tonight to check anyway? Have a fun day with your club and look later.
There's no way I can just forget about it.
Let's talk about something else for now.
Like what?
The brochure slaps down on the table. Eileen reaches out to turn it with her hand and we all lean over to look at it. It's for the aquarium advertising holiday light decorations.
Oh no.
Isn't it about time we went again? Look at the decorations, the theming!
Oh, pretty.
Isn't it?
It's something you've seen 100 times over already, I'm sure.
While Eileen and Wallace protest, Allison is effectively distracted from her phone for the moment, her eyes shining alongside Caprice's. Planning another aquarium outing doesn't sound like the worst idea right now. Maybe I'll look over some of the pamphlets after checking the phone one more time. Maybe you will do that.
Just give it some thought. There's even special pricing!
Caprice is busy shoving the brochure into Eileen's hand as she tries to break away from the group.
Sure. See you later.
She starts to leave but stops when she notices Allison isn't following. The grades still haven't been posted.
We can hover around the site at home.
Okay.
Hey, best of luck.
Wallace gives me a rather strong pat on the shoulder, surprisingly not making me fold over like a napkin. I offer a weak nod in return.
You too.
Oh, I'm relaxed about this.
We look over at the girls. Allison clutches Caprice's hands.
I'll text you.
Right when you get home. You definitely aced everything.
Well, take care. I gotta get to work.
Work?
See you.
Later, Olive.
Bye.
Bye. The three of them wave and depart in the same general direction. I send them off with a wave of my own. As for myself, I have no other obligations today, besides just waiting around to see if everyone's efforts were in vain. I wonder if Caprice is the same.
Hey, Ollie?
Hi.
Yeah?
Wanna walk around for a bit?
Yeah. Asked and answered. I glance at the weather outside, but it's not like it would have changed my answer anyway.
Sure. That sounds good.
The snow's been consistent, coating the city in an even layer of perfect white, though it seems to have calmed down a bit. Still, it's cold and wet and Caprice and I join the rest of the people bundled up in their heavy coats. Lights and decorations have already begun to adorn the cityscape. The beauty of it all makes the cold worth it. I feel a pressuring urge to bring about final projects, both of them weighing heavy on my mind. Stressful as it is wondering if I have a future in university, it's paled in comparison to wondering if I'm overthinking this morning. Worse yet, if maybe I'm seeing something I want to see, I'll be disappointed if she tells me it didn't mean anything.
I've been thinking of buying some new kitchen stuff.
You're not allowed in the kitchen. I look up from checking my phone another time, a small distraction.
Huh? You?
She pouts in my direction. It's cute.
Mom's been talking about how she wants a new pan, so I've been looking around for a decent one.
Ah, I see.
I give a nod, like everything makes sense now. Caprice pulls up, putting her hands on her hips and tilting her hat at me.
And if I'm ever going to learn how to cook myself, I'm going to need some stuff too, right?
Yeah. I laugh a little, nodding. She's so sincere, like always, that I drop the slight teasing despite her playing along.
Right. Sorry. Well, why
Doing
don't we
the
take a
hand.
look?
I wish. She says she successfully convinced me. Caprice walks into step with me, following my lead. We find our way to a store selling kitchenware and utensils. The 2 pence Caprice bought clank about in a shopping bag as we walk through the cool city streets again. It's not the most exciting place to visit. Still, we spend an exorbitantly long time admiring random kitchen gadgets and cute tableware that by the time we leave, it's nearly dark out.
Can you teach me to cook?
You want me to?
I think it's only fair, right? After all I did for you this semester?
No! After all you did for me!
Well, I'm not sure I'm qualified.
I'm not even trying to be cheeky. I've never really tutored anyone in anything.
Obviously you are. You do it for a living.
Well, yes, but...
Nuh-uh. That should have ended at the yes.
A part of me wondered why Caprice never came across as pushy, as she gives me a stern look that immediately dissolves into a grin. I'm once again confident that it's because her positivity is coming from her heart. It also feels intentional. She wants the best for everyone around her, and whenever she sees a glimmer of hope in someone, she puts her everything into bringing it to the surface.
You're going to teach me to cook. The decision's final.
Okay. I guess it wouldn't hurt. I could at the very least prevent her from accidentally destroying her apartment.
Fine. As thanks for all the help.
Great. Come on.
She begins to jerk her head, bag bouncing behind her in her hand.
Hey, be careful.
Right now? To be honest, the thought sounds more and more interesting as I think of it. She stops and spins to look at me, somehow avoiding slipping.
I'm glad. I really liked the food you made for us a while back. You did a wonderful job, you know?
When I last hear something like that, I feel my heart flutter a bit.
So I'd love to get together and have you make something again. And maybe steal your skills for myself.
She tightly grabs my hand in between hers. They're surprisingly warm.
I thought your project was amazing too. You don't need to worry.
We're actually doing the hand-holding, not in the way I thought we would, but...
Thanks.
Yeah. I think I'm starting to warm a little.
I wanted to help you. And I was kidding about owing me. You joining the club was more than enough. I was happy about that. So, you know...
No! A little tune starts to play. Caprice jumps, letting go of my hand and quickly rummaging through every single pocket she has until finding her phone. She gives me a tiny apologetic look and answers it, turning away slightly.
Allie! Hi!
Though small, I can hear the excited voice of Allison on the other side.
I did it! 4.0.
She has a 4.0 GPA and she was worried? Girl, get the fuck out of here!
Wow! That's amazing! I knew you would do great.
Shut the fuck up. Allison's GPA. Her being worried about a 4.0 really does show how different we are, huh? Wait, if she is hers, then... I grabbed my phone to refresh the page, still up where I left it. I had nearly forgotten. Bree spots me looking at my phone and focuses her attention back on me. Allison's still on the other line. She quickly presses the speaker button.
Ollie! Is it in for you too? Is it?
A second of silence passes until the grade loads in. 85!
I passed!
That's a passing grade! She pushes tight against my side to peer over my shoulder at the screen. She's still holding her phone against her ear.
With an 85%!
Congrats, Olive.
You did it! You passed! They passed!
Happily, Caprice wraps her arms around me. With the phone no longer near her face, I don't know if she can hear the little sounds of Allison and Eileen happily congratulating. I feel the weight the past couple of years float away, and in this place is only the weight of Caprice against me.
Good job, Olive!
Aw, thanks. Oh, hey, we finished Act 1. No, stop. No. Actually, that's perfect. Thank you so much. I was doubting whether I would manage to make it through Act 1 today. I was thinking, okay, whatever actually is at the end of the next scene, that's where I'm gonna stop. But this is perfect. Thank you also for save. This is nice. Yeah, you too. But oh my god, Allison has a 4.0 GPA. I was like, oh my god, I'm so worried. I mean, fair, even you are allowed to worry even if you have... Jesus Christ, Miku. You are allowed to worry if you have good grades, obviously. But... my god, a 4.0 GPA. Oh no! What if I don't pass? Girl, are you for real? Oh, we did it! Act 1 done! Yay! That means we could maybe definitely finish this route sometime next week. Also thank you for the hydrate time. And then see all of the extra stuff that you get for finishing both of the routes. Nice. That's cool. No end time. Yes, I'm sorry. It is Sunday and I do have to work tomorrow. But we're gonna continue the game next week. Next week is not gonna be a Wednesday stream though. I mean, there wasn't one this week either, but that's because of family obligations. But probably Tuesday, where we continue this game, so it's not that long. And then Friday is gonna be more Ace Attorney, and Saturday is gonna be more Judgment. Though I don't yet know about the time for Judgment, because I'm getting roped into things I don't actually want to go to, but I already said yes, so now I have to commit. But yeah, that's gonna be it for tonight. I will post the schedule in a bit. Let me just switch this up real quick. Yeah. Have a good night, everyone. It is Sunday, so I'm gonna send you over to our favorite pink-haired cat, who is also having her 3rd anniversary, 3-year anniversary right now. And who am I to not say hello to that? Here's the right message. Thank you so much for coming by tonight. I hope you all have a very good night and a great start into the new week. I'll see you all soon. Good night. And bye-bye. Oh, thank you for the pad. I'm sorry. That got kind of lost in the screen. Bye-bye.